Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is covering all things Real Housewives of Miami Season 6, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So, with that, you guys, let's dive right on in. So, first up, I'm going to say what I think about the season so far, and then we will dive into each of the ladies. So for me, I love the Miami girls. I think they are a total vibe. They are a kiki. They are the moment. I am here for them. I think it's a really fun season, and I love that the drama is about their real lives, and they don't really do like take down seasons. The energy is different. Yes, they still call people out like, "Oh, are you dating a married man?" and, "Is this person cheating? Are you getting divorced?" They still do that, but it just feels different when they do it. It doesn't feel as dark or as malicious or as conjured up or planted. Like I think like with Potomac, a lot of their takedown is lies and made up and like fake stuff that they say to take people down and to deflect. Where I feel as the ladies of Miami, I feel like the reason why it's such a good show is because none of the women really deflect. They really own their stuff. They really just sort of say, this is what's going on. Now, they may put a nice shiny veneer on it, like Alexia, we'll get into her, but they really own their stuff. They don't do a lot of projection or deflection and things like that. So I think that's why when they talk about people's lives and everything and the drama and like who's dating who's getting divorced, who's cheating, what's going on, it doesn't have that same icky, dark energy feeling that we sometimes get in like Beverly Hills or we get in Potomac or we had gotten in New York at the very end and like even like Atlanta. So I think that's why it has more of like a fresher, funner, light shade. So I'm definitely here for it. Now, let's see. Now, this particular episode, I think it was, and of course, you know me, all roads lead to Beverly Hills. I think it's very similar to episode 2 of Beverly Hills, where it is a setup episode. And what I always mean by that is it's setting up the storyline, the trajectory of all of the women for the rest of the season. So a lot of big things really didn't happen. Yes, we had Gertie tell us that she had cancer, but like we knew that from episode 1. But it was a good setup episode in the beginning of the season that has really given us a roadmap for storylines. Like we know it's going to be Julia versus Marisol. And then I think as by proxy of that, I'm questioning, is it going to be Marisol versus the group? Because I think it was very telling that Julia was like, the problem with this group is Marisol. And nobody really defended her. Alexia was like, look, I'm tired of fighting your battles. I got enough on my plate, girl, bye. And that's her quote bestie. So I think it's setting up that dynamic. This episode is also setting up the fate of Alexia and Todd's marriage. Todd is back on the scene. They have a very awkward and cringy dinner where she doesn't even really want to look at him. And I'm going to get into, when we get to Alexia's slide, I'm going to get into what I think is the real reason why their marriage is in big trouble. Big trouble. And I'm going to give you my conspiracy theory as to what I think is truly going on with them. And yeah, I'm going to tell you what I think is really going on, and I think it's pretty bad in my personal opinion. Okay. It's also setting up, obviously, Gertie's cancer journey. It's setting up Gertie versus Larsa. It's setting up Adriana versus Alexia and Marisol. So it's setting up that dynamic. And then it's also setting up the fate of Lisa's divorce versus the future if she has one with her new man. How they had Kiki be like, oh, is he like a rebound? Like, what's going on with that? So I think that this episode did a lot of foreshadowing and setting up the storylines for the season to come. So I thought it was a good episode. I thought it was really funny. I'm here for it. It's great. Now, let's start in on each of the ladies, okay? And as we go on, put down your questions, put down your comments, drop your candy canes. Where are you listening from? What are your conspiracy theories? Join the chat. It is popping. The water is fine. Come on and join us, baby. All right. Now, let's get to Miss Gertie. Now, first, I wanted to say, sending her so much love. She has announced that she is now cancer free. She got the cancer removed. She went through chemo. She was rocking the cancer shaved head. So just sending her lots of love, her family love. I want to take a moment to serve reverence to that. Oh, thank you, the real estate insider, for the super sticker. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support. What's up, sweetheart? Thank you. I really appreciate that. So I wanted to take a moment to, just give reverence to that, because I think every person has been touched by a form of cancer, whether it's breast cancer or a different type of cancer. We've all been touched by cancer in some way. And not that I'm excited or looking forward to it in a weird way, but I am grateful that we're going to see her cancer journey and recovery journey, thank God, on the show. I think that's going to be really powerful. I think it's going to give a narrative and a lens and representation to a lot of people who have either battled cancers themselves, or they have, a loved one that they're supporting through their cancer journey. And I think it's super interesting that we're going to have both perspectives, right? We're going to have Gertie, who she herself had cancer, and what that looks like to be the person with cancer, and trying to, get support from your friends and family, but then also feeling hopeless to help your loved ones, like like your husband and your kids and everything like that. But then on the flip side, we then will get to see Julia's journey as someone who is supporting their partner with cancer. Martina, I believe, is now cancer free as well. I hope she is. Let's speak that into existence. But she also had breast and throat cancer. So I think it'll be very interesting that we get to see both sides of that story. What does it look like to be the person with cancer? And then what does it look like to be the person who's the loved one that's supporting their spouse, their person who has cancer? So I think that'll be really interesting. And we don't usually get that deep with stuff on the shows. So I'm excited to see how they tackle it. I really want to see how they tackle it. Now, when she was talking about being mad at Larsa, I would have been mad at Larsa all day, every day. Larsa, you need to sit down and have several seats. She has been very dismissive of Gertie, and I'll repeat this when we get to Larsa's side as well. But she has been very dismissive of her. I can't understand Gertie. I don't know what she's saying half the time. Put a muzzle on it. Your fake tears, blah, 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 blah. Larsa, you came hard for Gertie, and now you can't handle when she comes back for you? Like, turnaround's fair play. Don't light the match if you can't handle the smoke. Like, girl, bye, Larsa. I would be pissed too. And then when Gertie was, at the brunch with her, and she was trying to tell her the news, because, news like that, whether any type of trauma, and, getting a cancer diagnosis is a lot of trauma, but any type of trauma, or even not trauma, even just difficult conversations to have, they can be hard. You can get choked up. You can not know what to say. You can kind of react in a weird way. And the fact that Larsa was so belittling to her, like, we're not going to cry. What are you saying? Spit it out. What are you talking about? Was just so disrespectful. Like, Larsa, Gertie is a whole woman, okay? She's a whole woman. She's a whole wife. She's a whole entrepreneur. She's a whole mother. Like, girl, sit down, have several seats. You are not better than her. And I hope that Gertie gets up and actually leaves when she's like, I'm done with this. I think she'll probably stick around, and we'll see the rest of that conversation in the next episode. But we'll see. We'll see. But I'm happy that she's standing her ground. Now, this is the thing. Sometimes Gertie can do the most. Like, last season, she did the most. She was crying all the time. She made everything about her. She was over the top. But at the end of the day, that's her personality. And I think that's just her. Did I find it annoying at times? Yeah. But did it make me dislike Gertie? No. I like Gertie. I love her. She's a moment. She's funny. She wanted to share. And I think a lot of the housewives sometimes do that. They are over the top. They are doing the most. They are crying in every scene. They're interjecting. They're making it about them. But like, get the screen time, girl. Like, she's doing her job. I don't think that was anything to slight Gertie over. And I also think it's just a part of her personality. That's just who she is. That's how she acts. So for me, I really like Gertie. Does she do the most sometimes? Yeah, but like, why not? If I'm on the show, I would probably do the most too. I want the screen time. I want to get paid every episode. I want to be asked back. I'm doing the most too. I'm earning my paycheck. But I don't think Gertie does the most in a disingenuous way. I think she just does the most because that's her. And then in this particular situation, it was so valid. She's struggling with getting the news that she has breast cancer, having to then tell her husband, and then what it's going to be like to tell her children, and then having to tell these women on camera, having to tell the world. Like, I would be a mess too. I would be all over the place too. And like Gertie said, to her point, she was like, I was at the, New Horizons Nuevas Horizontes. Sorry, I don't want to like slaughter Spanish. Like the New Horizon dinner that they had. And she was like, I was just trying to hold it together. She was like, I was putting on a smile. I was getting it together. And then Larsa got in my face being like, Gertie, why are you calling me fake? Blah, 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 which is true. Gertie was minding her business. She really was. For as outspoken and loud she can be, which is totally fine if that's how you are, whatever, she was quiet. She was over in the corner with her man, and you could tell she was kind of going through it. Because everybody else, because if you watch the scenes back, everyone basically was like, Gertie's going through something. Gertie's going through something. Gertie's like, even at the gay brunch that Marisol had, her guy friend there was like, well, maybe give her the benefit of the doubt and maybe she's going through something. Like, duh. And then Larsa was sitting there like, no. So it's like, you claim to be so close to Gertie, but you are literally the only person. And this man didn't even really know Gertie like that. He just heard what was going on, who didn't give her grace when it was so clear that she was going through something. Larsa, bye. All right. Well, now let me actually get to Larsa. And thank you again to the real estate insider for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Now let's move to Larsa. I already kind of went in on her, but we can do more because I got more to say about this chick. So Larsa, you are fake. You are a Kardashian clone. You are fake. Like, what are you talking about? Everything about you is fake. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. If you want to get your lips done, your nose done, your boobs done, your butt done, knock yourself out. But then don't be shocked when people call you fake. And she wasn't calling you fake because of your body. Like, she wasn't body shaming you. She was calling you fake because you were being a fake friend. Because your personality is fake, and you were. Because you were clowning the hell out of Gertie. The same way you clown Kiki, because you thought Gertie was going to be a little lackey for you the way Kiki is. But even Kiki this episode gave you all the shade. She was like, you cannot be with your boy toy. Like, you're 50. Like, girl, you can handle it. So even Kiki is finding her voice. I love Kiki. Last season, Kiki did do the most at the video shoot. That was a little bit much. But other than that, I do like Kiki. But I do think that Larsa likes to surround herself with yes people who she thinks that she is cooler than, better than, the HBIC, and that people will just, be yes people to her and do her bidding. And she could talk about them and put them down and they would just take it. And Gertie was like, wait a minute, you're saying all this stuff about me. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I need to put a muzzle on it, that I have all these fake, all this stuff going on. You are supposed to be my friend. So yeah, you are fake. You say one thing in my face because you need an ally on the show because nobody else was really messing with you like that, Larsa. You needed an ally on the show. You thought that Gertie and Kiki were the weakest links. So you took them on and you thought you could talk about them any type of way and they would be your lackey, and you messed around and you found out. Point blank period. You are fake. Get out of here. And I'm proud of Gertie. I am very proud of Gertie for not being a beta B to Larsa. For saying, no, you said some messed up things about me. So yeah, I said some messed up things about you. And what? I'm not going to just be like your beta. So I'm happy that she did that. I'm happy that she is speaking out for herself. And then also, like, she was breaking down at the dinner and being like, when I call you, like, I need you to like really be there for me, like, like really be there. So clearly she was going through something. And then when Larsa called her on the phone, she was like, yeah, well, let's like get together and like let's talk, because that's kind of like cancer news. You kind of want to tell somebody face to face. And Larsa still showed up with a stank attitude. Like, if you're supposed to be my friend and we are going to a brunch where I'm supposed to be telling you what is bothering me, and you have the audacity to look me in my face and say, we're not going to cry, I would not even do appetizers. I would be up and out. First of all, you're not going to police my emotions and my feelings. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot do. And the fact that you're going to come at me like that when I'm clearly struggling, you're not my friend and you are fake, because your friends are the people who are with you when you're going through things, when you're not at your best, when you are acting crazy, when you are acting out, when you are struggling. The people who are there for you in the moments when you aren't at your best, those are your actual friends. Because anybody can kick it with you and kiki with you when everything is cool and kumbaya and everything's on the up and up and you're on the same page and you're laughing and you're dipping it and you're doing it. That's an associate. Anybody can kick it with you when things are good. But when you are breaking down at parties, when you are crying, when you are being erratic because clearly something is going on in your life, the friends who stick by you then, those are your actual friends. So Larsa, shut up and have several seats. Now, her relationship with Michael Jordan's son, super cringy. I always think it's really weird when adults know children, and then when those children grow up, those same adults have sex with them. I think it's really gross and nasty. Like, I personally think it's really gross that if you were of age and you were around a person in any type of like substantial time, which she clearly was. There's rumors that she used to like babysit with like her and her kids, like Jada Pinkett Smith having sex with her son's, I mean, allegedly her son's ex-boyfriend, having sex with that boy, Augustus, whatever. Like, he grew up within their family. To me, that's disgusting. Just because I don't know, like the energy, the dynamic, the psyche of it. Like, one, having sex with someone who's had sex with your children is really gross to me. This is Jada Pinkett I'm talking about, not Larsa. Is really gross to me. I just think that's really nasty. But then also on top of that, I just think if you've been an adult and you've been any type of person in a child's life, that child kind of should be off limits sexually forever. That's just kind of what I think. It's kind of nasty. It's really kind of nasty to me. And it's really, really cringy. And she's doing too much. Like, if you have to show me that you're in a relationship, then you're really not in a relationship, Or no, if you have to tell me, wait, what is it? What's it saying? Show me, don't tell me. Yeah, if you have to tell me, you know what? If you have to show me and tell me you're in a relationship, you're not in a real relationship. To me, I think it's very stunty. I think it's giving PR. It's giving Michael Jordan's son is having a temper tantrum and he wants his father's attention. It's giving this is a relationship for the paparazzi. It's giving this is a relationship for a storyline. It's not giving real. It's giving, blind items is that he's already and has been cheating on her. It's giving very fake. It's giving boyfriend for hire. It's giving very thirsty. Both Larsa and Michael Jordan's son, I don't even know what his name is, just Michael Jordan's son, are thirsty as hell. And I'm sorry, but like, I find him to be kind of dusty. Because just because you have money or come from money doesn't mean that you are like a quality dude. He just seems very dusty to me. I don't know. Like, when she was just like, we just eat all this stuff and I'm getting fat and I wake up and go in. But then I also was like, is he dusty? Or is he just a young guy and she's 50? And so that's why it seems like he's like unmotivated and dusty. You know what I'm saying? Or is he actually doing what is age appropriate for him and she needs to find a man who's age appropriate for her? Not age shaming. I'm not age shaming. That's not what I mean. I just mean not necessarily age appropriate, lifestyle appropriate. Let me put it that way. So I don't want to age shame anybody. Lifestyle appropriate. If you have a certain lifestyle, like waking up and going to the gym and having structure, then maybe you don't date someone who is still acting like a college kid because he can. Do you see what I'm saying? It's crazy. Natasha says Marcus. No, I know his name is Marcus. I just like to call him Michael Jordan's son. Because I'm being shady. I'm being shady as hell. And I think she's using him as a storyline. Shout out to Nataski. Hey, Foxy. Hey, Malpun. So let me shout out to my candy canes real quick. Everybody in the chat box. Hey, Foxy. How my pun? Who else is in here? Hey, Tay Tay the Savior. Hey, sweetheart. What is up? Hey, Crin Bryn. All right. I just wanted to say hi to people. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so I already covered how dirty and completely dismissive she was of Gertie at the brunch. And did you guys catch how she's clearly only in Miami for filming? Like, girl, she wanted to be a local hire. So to me, Larsa doesn't live in Miami. I feel like she only moved to Miami, and she got that little apartment condo only to be a part of the show. Like, I don't think she actually lives there. I think Larsa really lives, I think she splits her time in real life between LA and then maybe a bit of New York. And then she just has the apartment there just for filming. Very similar to what I think is going on with Ashley Darby and Michael. Not that they don't live in the Potomac area, but I think that Michael got Ashley Darby that house to be a filming house, because I think Michael Darby no longer wanted to be on the show because he didn't want the smoke that came with it, and he didn't want the camera crew in his house anymore. So I think that's why he bought Ashley that house, was to be a filming house for her and the boy, so he didn't have to be there and they didn't have to be in his business. I think very similarly, a Larsa's Miami life is only for filming. I don't think she really lives in Miami at all. I don't think so. You know, I think she lives in LA with her kids, because isn't that where all her kids are in LA? I think it's like for filming. Okay, let's move on to Lisa. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, so I want to know what you guys think. Put it in the chat box about Lisa. I think she's still in love with Lenny. I think she's still in love with Lenny. I think that she is holding out hope that they are going to not actually divorce and that they're going to get back together. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not, what I mean by not mad at it is, do I think she should take him back? No, obviously not, for how much he dogged her. But when I say I'm not mad at that, what I mean is I understand being married to someone for 15 years, having 2 children with them cheating on you and breaking your heart, and you still being in love with them. You know, it doesn't make sense. It's not right. He doesn't deserve her. She definitely should not go back to him and take him back. But I think that as human beings, I think you still love the person, even if you're going through it, even if you're going to get the divorce, even if everything is going on. And I think that she's still in love with him, and she's still holding out hope that the divorce isn't going to really happen. I think she thinks that Lenny is going through like a midlife crisis, something is going on, and that somehow they're going to be able to work it out and find their way back to each other. I think her new boyfriend, Jody, I think he's great, but I think that she needs to stop talking about Lenny and the situation so much to him. Very similar to Gina in the OC. You know, her boyfriend, whatever his name is, all she talks about is Matt, her ex, you know, over and over and over again. And Heather even said to her, you know, your boyfriend's not your therapist. You can't keep going to him about your ex. And I agree with that. I do think that your current partner or your current boyfriend, yes, they are a support system for you. 100%. And of course, you can share with them what you're going through when it comes to like a separation or divorce or co parenting. Of course, because you want them to support you on that journey. But I do think that that there should be boundaries and there should be levels to it. Even in friendships, right? Like me and like my girlfriends, if one of my girlfriends, if all she ever does is just dump on me about, her problems, her stuff, and about an ex and all this stuff, there does come a point where it's like, well, maybe you should talk to someone about this because I'm not like your trash can. And also, like certain dynamics, like if I was dating a guy, like for example, if my partner, if the guy I'm seeing, if he was always talking to me about his ex, it would be a wrap. It would be an absolute wrap. And honestly, isn't that one of the things, like one of the biggest red flags is like on a first date is if they bring up their ex? It's just, it's an also like a respect level. It's like, am I just here for you to be a sounding board for you to talk about your ex over and over and over again? Like it does get to be a bit disrespectful. It does get to be a little weird. Your partner is there to support you, yes. But there are levels to this. There are boundaries to this. There are respect things. Because if I'm seeing a guy and every other word out of his mouth is his ex-girlfriend, his ex-wife's name, or what they're going through and what's happening with them, I'm out. I'm out, even if you're going through a separation or divorce, because I'm not number two to anyone or anything. And I'm not a filler person, and I'm sure as hell not a rebound chick. So I would be out. Poor Jody. But at the same time, Jody, you should be smart enough to know the deal. You should be smart enough to know you're dating a woman who was married for 15 years, who wanted her marriage to work. It wasn't like she decided to leave him. She was cheated on. It's very contentious, it's very acrimonious. And clearly, in my personal opinion, she is not over him. And I get it. I get it. You can't just snap your fingers and be over someone, even if they are a scumbag like Lenny. In some ways, it makes you even more addicted to them. It's like, oh, wait, you cheated on me. Oh, wait, you humiliated me. A part of our ego, when people cheat on us specifically, wants to win that person back because in a very like ego-based way, and this isn't necessarily a negative, this is just like how humans operate. Our ego wants to win. So in some way, it's like you cheated on me. That feels like a loss. That feels like an L. That feels like a slight. That feels like I wasn't good enough. There's something about me that wasn't good enough. What does she have that I don't? What does he have that I don't? So when you get the person who cheated on you and made you feel that way back, our ego says, okay, well, I won. I proved my value. I proved my worth. I won. So a lot of times when people do us dirty like that, we actually want to get them back even more just so we feel better about ourselves. It might not be the healthiest thing, but I think it's pretty common. I think it's pretty common because our ego wants to feel like we won, you know? So I do think that she wants him back, but we'll see. Now, this is the thing, Lisa Boo Boo. You need to call, because again, all roads lead to Beverly Hills. You need to call Sutton real quick, and you need to get her team of financial forensic people, profiler people, because when she said that she was getting 8K a month, I was like, 8K a month? That is very, 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 very low. I was shocked at that. 8K? Like, she has 2 kids with him and they're still married. So this is like the preliminary, spousal child support situation. Why would she be excited about that? Why was the lawyer excited about that? 8,000 a month? And I'm not sneezing at that in a realistic way. Like us, Jane Doe, John Doe, everyday schmucks. You know what I'm saying? Of course, AK would be good for all of us, for as spousal or child support, whatever the case is. I'm saying that in context of Lisa and Lenny and all of their money and their mansions, and he's the big boob doctor of Miami, and they have the cars and the jets and the designer clothes and the parties. So I'm saying it in context to their lifestyle. I'm not out of touch or tone deaf. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I mean by that in context to their lifestyle. He's the big Miami boob doctor. He's supposed to have all of this money. He throws these lavish parties. They're a big mega mansion. And you're only asking for $8,000 a month for you and your 2 children? But then I was like, well, maybe, just maybe, Lenny doesn't have the finances and the money we think he has. Because remember last season, they were trying to clown Lisa because they were saying that Lenny was renting out the mansion or the house for parties because he needed the money to pay for the mortgage. Now, this is the thing. To me, I'm not mad at that. If you have this big mega mansion and you can rent it out for like a night, a couple of parties, whatever the case may be, a fun weekend, and get your paper up and you can pay the mortgage with that, and then the rest of your money is your play money, do you. I think that's really smart. People do it all the time. People Airbnb their houses. People Airbnb their apartments for extra cash and to help pay their mortgage. They rent out rooms in their house. So to me, I'm not mad at that. Like that, to me, that actually sounds really smart. If you have the time, if you have the space and you can do it, why not leverage your home or your apartment to get extra money? Like that's really smart. The thing is this, was he doing it in a smart, let's get some extra cash, or was he doing it because he needed the cash? And those are two different things. And so to me, I'm like, if he's doing that because he needed the cash, because sometimes a lot of these people who A, definitely get on reality shows, and B, just in general, who act like they have all this money, they have all the cars and they're doing this and they're flying everywhere and they have the jets and these big old mega mansions, which is nothing but like a money pit, are fronting. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're doing Ponzi schemes. They're doing fraud schemes. They're in debt out of their mind. They're remortgaging their homes to keep up appearances, right? So it could be that where $8,000 a month would make sense if that's how much he has, in cash. He could be cash poor. Maybe his business isn't doing as good as it is. Because to me, when she said $8,000, I was like, what? I was shocked. I was all the way shocked. And her little weird pipsqueak, lawyer was like, this is a great day for us. We don't have to go do a thing. We're getting the $8K a month. I was like, this is a great day. I would fire the lawyer like $8K a month. Now, again, that number can change because don't forget, this is still just the spousal child support during their divorce. So that number most likely will change. I don't know if that number usually goes up or down. I'm not sure, depending on what type of, like Shannon Bedore, don't go to her divorce lawyers. They screwed her. She got screwed. She had a great, alimony, child support when they were divorcing, but then she got screwed for post-divorce. So again, Lisa, go talk to Sutton because Sutton is getting like $300K, $350K a month. I don't think Lenny has that type of money, but $8K, I smell something fishy going on. There's something fishy going on here. You know what I mean? Hey, Foxy makes a great point. Maybe he could be hiding money. That's also another really good point. And or, shout out to Foxy for that. And or he could have ill-gotten money that maybe he doesn't, quote, report. And that's how he has all of the lavish stuff. And so since he doesn't, report it, you better watch out because Uncle Sam's going to come and get you, boo-boo. But because he doesn't report it, he's not reporting it on his financials to the court system. You see what I'm saying? Like something isn't, like the math isn't mathing. You see what I'm saying? Like the math isn't mathing. You have this gorgeous, over-the-top, luxurious life, and then your wife is excited about $8K a month for her and 2 kids. We need to expose Lenny. We need a Reddit thread. We need something. Lenny needs to be exposed. Okay. All right. Let's move on to Julia. Okay, so Julia, I'm looking forward to seeing Martina's recovery journey. I kind of covered this a little bit when we talked about Gertie. I'm looking forward to seeing, like, her perseverance. And by looking, it sounds so cringy to say looking forward or excited when it's a thing like that. But you know what spirit I'm saying it in? Like, I think it's going to be very positive. I think it's going to be very informative to give voice to cancer patients and survivors and what it really looks like to go through it in a real way. So that's really what I mean by it. I can say this. I am so happy. I am so elated that their fake storyline of we're adopting a baby is over. Like, put a pin in it. You weren't adopting a child. That was for a storyline. Like, girl, just go back to your little animal farm with your pets and your stuff, like, and your vegetables. We didn't need the fake adopting a baby storyline. Martina is freaking what, 60s or in her 70s? She's not trying to adopt a child. And Julia is out here dipping it and doing it. I don't think she really wants to look after her kid. To me, that was all fake news storyline. And I'm happy it's over because it was weird and bizarre and boring, quite frankly. Now, I have a theory. Not even a theory. It's more just based on what was said last season. I do think that Julia was cheating on Martina. Remember the whole quote rumor that she was spotted kissing a guy at some hotel or whatever, and she was like, "Oh no, it's my friend. I kiss all my guy friends like that." Julia, stop lying, girl. I think Julia definitely either is and or still is cheating on Martina. 100%. They were living separate lives. Julia went all the way to a freaking farm by herself. Martina stayed in the city and was like, and what? You know what I'm saying? She's like, I'm going to go to Vermont. I'm going to go ski. I'm going to go, I'm going to go play some tennis. Like, I'm out. Like, they were so irritated by each other. Even Julia's daughter was irritated by her. Remember last season? Remember, this was pre-cancer diagnosis. They were having huge marital problems. They weren't getting along. They weren't spending time together. Julia was spotted tonguing down some dude at the hotel. And again, this is all for entertainment. This is all alleged. This is all opinion based. Okay. I think she is definitely cheating. And I think that they were headed for maybe a separation, Splitsville. But then Martina, unfortunately, got diagnosed. And I think once that happened, obviously that shakes everything up. Obviously, you put the side pieces on pause. You focus on being there for your spouse, your loved one, and it changes things. It makes you appreciate the person. It makes you love the person. It's kind of, like, that's scary to think you're going to lose this person. And so I think that initially it's going to bring them closer together. But again, like I said, this episode, or maybe this actually happened last episode, either this episode or last episode, they're foreshadowing episodes, right? The early episodes are always setting up the storylines for the rest of the season. Did you catch, though, how Martina was pissed at Julia because Julia wasn't there for her through certain, like, chemo sessions and things she was going through? And Martina was like, you missed this one. You weren't there for it. Where were you? And Julia's kind of like, oh, wait, what? Really? Wait, what? So I think that things like that, whether it's, cancer or a baby or whatever the case is, threesomes, whatever, band-aids. And I don't want to say cancer is a band-aid because I'm not trying to be not sensitive, but you guys know you know what spirit I'm saying this in. Any type of quote band-aid that kind of brings you together under an extreme circumstance only lasts for so long when the core issues aren't addressed. So I think that Martina's cancer diagnosis is such an extreme thing to go through. Of course, it's going to bring them together. Of course it is. But I don't think their core issue that they are living separate lives. They aren't really on the same page. The sex doesn't really seem to be there anymore. They don't have that chemistry anymore. They do seem very disconnected. Those core issues haven't been addressed. So they're going to come back. And I think we're going to start to see those cracks in the upcoming episodes. But I love Martina. And I pray that she is cancer-free, just like Gertie, and she is doing well. But to me, Martina is a vibe. I love her. I think she's funny. I think she's great. She's amazing. She's a legend. I'm here for it. I love her. But let's see. So why is Julia coming so hard for Marisol this season? One, I think it's revenge for the kissing a man rumor from last season. I know that I think it was Larsa who said it, but weren't we saying that Marisol was the one who was like planting all of the rumors? I don't know. We have to go back. I believe it was Larsa the one who dropped the bomb, but I think it was Marisol who was like planting everything, right? Maybe that. But even if not that, I think that she's vindicating her girlfriend, Adriana. How you doing, Adriana and Julia? You see what I'm saying? I think they definitely have hooked up and have been more than friends. Because remember how disrespectful Julia and Adriana were to Martina? Like rubbing the feet and kissing and giving like a quote friendship ring and being so like needy and dependent on each other. Wouldn't not on my watch. Not if my partner ever treated me like that, out the freaking door, babe. No way. No way. It's so disrespectful. So disrespectful. Because you can have same-sex friends or opposite-sex friends or whatever friends. You can have friends, whatever. But again, it goes back to there's levels to things. There's boundaries and there's respect. And there's just certain lines you shouldn't cross when you are in a relationship. It's just disrespectful to the person that you're with. Even Gertie said it last season. She brought up all the stuff like, oh, why is Adriana rubbing your feet? Or either Julia rubbed Adriana's feet. Somebody was rubbing feet. You know what I'm saying? She was like, what the hell? So it was just very, very disrespectful. And it's not, and like the thing is, it's disrespectful, but underneath the disrespect is embarrassment. You know, if your person is out here dipping it and doing it with their so-called friend, that's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants to be embarrassed by their person in public and especially on television. Absolutely not. And I thought Julia was trash for that. Not in like a Dorit trash way, but just like, you know, not in a not being nice way. Okay. But I do think she's trying to vindicate Adriana when it comes to Marisol, because she definitely was the one who started the rumor that she was dating a married man. But then she got Alexia, I think it was, to bring it to the show or whatever it was. I forget who brought the stuff to the show, but I was pretty sure it was like Marisol behind the scenes spinning everything. That's why Adriana was like, oh, she's like a witch in the cauldron or whatever it was. Or maybe that was Lisa. I forget. Again, I think that's why it's going to be like the group versus Marisol this season. And I think it's going to start with Julia and then it's going to trickle down to everybody else. But I think she's just doing vindication because, as we all know, in codependent relationships, when someone slights your codependent, you feel like it's your job to defend them and to vindicate them. So right now, Julia is being a flying monkey for Adriana and going after Marisol. Like, you came for my girlfriend, I'm coming for you, chick. And that's clearly where that's coming from. Okay, now here we go. Let's move on to Adriana. Oh, Adriana boo-boo. Now, I think she did a big missed opportunity. Big missed opportunity. And I'm going to tell you why. So last season, I really felt for her. I felt like she was going through something. I felt like she was trying to find herself, having all like, you know, different like identity crisis. She was just kind of a mess. She was all over the place, you know, and I really felt bad for her. You could tell she was kind of lonely. She was struggling, all of that. I don't know if her alimony ran out. She was talking about having to like support herself going forward or something like that. But you could really tell she was going through it. And we had a lot of sympathy for her during the season and even at the reunion. And I think that if she would have came back this season, and let me know what you guys think on this, because this is just my opinion. It might be unpopular, it might be popular. I don't know. But I think that if she would have came back this season, it really could have been her like Phoenix Rising season where she really shone and she's healed now and she's doing better and she has the music and she's happier and she's kicking with the girls and it's just like so much fun. And it would be like, oh yes, like, you know, we were rooting for you last season and now you've come back and you're bigger and you're better than ever. You go, girl. She really could have had that energy. But to me, I feel like she just came back as a bitter Betty. a Debbie Downer, and quite frankly, a jealous hater. And I'm going to say the difference is her energy behind it. She is so clearly jealous and mad that Jody, Lisa's boyfriend, moved into her old house, shading them in the confessional, walking through, talking about where she had sex and how they designed it and all that stuff. Sweetheart, you're just mad you can no longer live there. You're just mad about it. Whereas I think if she would have came and had that moment and was actually coming from like a fun place, like a good energy, like, oh my God, I used to live here. We used to do all this stuff. Can you believe it? Yeah, they remodeled it. Like, I would have kept it this way, but it's cute. Like, to me, it's not what she's saying, it's the energy in which she's saying it. Because you could throw some shade and have it be fun and light. But to me, her energy is just bitter and jealous. And I'm like, this is a missed opportunity. You could have came back like as the glory girl, because your nemesis Alexia is very humbled this season. Very humbled. She was on Watch What Happens Live talking about, I saw myself, and because she was very angry last season. She was very angry. She was very mad. She was lashing out. And Alexia this season, I think, is coming with the correct energy. She's humbled. She wants to bring the group together. She's like, I'm not going to lash out. I know that I was angry last season. I know I had a lot going on. So to me, Alexia is giving that energy of, I saw how I was and I'm changing to be that girl that Adriana wishes she had. And this is another thing. When she goes out to spill the tea about the trouble in Alexia and Todd's marriage, it's from a place of jealousy. Like, she's reveling in it. She's enjoying the bad news. Oh, Alexia thinks she's up here because of her money, and Todd gives her the things to be materialistic. No, Adriana, sweetheart, you're just jealous. You're just jealous. I'm not saying you want Todd in particular, no, but I do think you wish you were either A, still married or married now, and B, I do think you wish you still had access to a lot of money. Because duh, who wouldn't? Please, who wouldn't want all that money back, all that access back? You know what I'm saying? All that luxury back, living in a big old penthouse and you don't have to pay a dime for it. Duh. Who wouldn't want that back? Anybody in their right mind would. Duh. So I'm not saying that you're wrong for wanting that stuff back. To me, you're just jealous and you're a bitter person, and I don't like watching jealous, bitter people. And what I mean by it being energy is, yes, girl, you need to come, you need to spill the tea, you need to stir the pot. So I'm not saying that her talking about Alexia and Todd and what Todd said about like, oh, it's not about you, Alexia, or you, Adriana. And Adriana was like, oh, you need to fix something in your marriage. And he's like, right, like all that stuff. It's not about commenting on her marriage. It's not about carrying the bone back, because again, you're on the show, you're doing your job, you're there to stir the pot and to spill the tea and all of that. I get it. But the fact that you take so much enjoyment out of it and you're being so nasty about it, that's what makes you a jealous, bitter hater. It's the energy. Because it's not like you were like, oh, Alexia and Todd are going through something. Let's talk to Alexia. Let's see how she's doing. How can we support her? Have you heard anything? What's going on? You were so happy and you were so excited. Oh, everything isn't as good as it looks. Blah, 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 blah. We know it's not as good as it looks. He didn't even show up to his own house for a party. But the fact that you reveled in it, I don't like that. Because to me, a person who delights in the demise of someone else, particularly someone who they used to say they cared about or were friends with, I don't rock with people like that. I think there's something very sinister and something very off when people delight in the demise of other people. I get it. Maybe you're not friends right now. I get it. You've had your beefs, but there's just something gross to me about someone who takes pleasure in other people's pain. Because you could carry the bone back, you could spill the tea, you could be the pot stirrer, you could make it a moment, but the energy in which you brought it was very, very nasty. And Adriana, you need to watch yourself, because that karma comes back to people. And you were going through it last season, and I was rooting for you. And I was like, people need to lay off of her. She's going through something. You need to be there for her. But this is, I don't know. I didn't like it. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys, feel about it, So Let's see. Okay, so Emilio Estefan, is that his name? Emilio Estefan. I guess he's big in like I guess music, like Latin music. Um anyway, him just showing up at the brunch was obviously planned. Oh, I was just over here with my wife, and she was like, "Isn't that your friend with the camera crew and the production team and the lights and sound? Who put this mic on me? Where'd this mic come from?" Like, boy, bye. That was clearly planned. And I was like, is the music industry struggling right now? And also, it was giving like PK and Boy George vibes, where it's so like planted, it's so obvious, just so, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. And she's like, he was going to give this song to like, who was he going to give the song to? Olivia Rodrigo, was it? I don't know, but he gave it to me instead. I'm like, Adriana, shut up. I just need her to clean up her energy. Clean it up. Clean it up. All right. Let's move on to Dr. Nicole. Okay, I love Dr. Nicole. Like, I am a Dr. Nicole stan. I think she's great. I think she's so cute. I love her little tight little body. I love all of her decadence. I love that she's really smart. She's pregnant now with baby number 2. I just love Dr. Nicole. I think she gives really smart, intelligent shade, and she doesn't go below the belt too much. You know what I mean? I think she's a vibe. I think she's really, really pretty. Like, I think she's really cute. Like, she's someone that I would like want to be friends with, you know? There's always people you're like, oh, I would be friends with that girl. Like, I would love to be friends like Dr. Nicole. I think she's really fun. She like we would go get like some cocktails and like hang out and like have dinner, you know? She's fun. She's a vibe. I really like her. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing more of her in the upcoming episode. She wasn't highly featured, but again, we had so much going on with Gertie and the cancer and everything. I think that it'll start to pick up with other people in more scenes, and we'll see more of her. I don't think she's getting the Crystal treatment, which is good. I do think we'll see more of her. And I think that her storyline is going to be very similar to her past season, right? Where it's going to be about mending fences with her mother and her father, because I think her and her mom are maybe on the outs a bit now. And I think her father, the cat daddy, he's expecting a baby. So I think it's going to be a lot again about family trauma, dysfunction, mending those fences. And I don't want to be jaded, but something still seems shady with how much money her husband has. I know people are like, he comes from money and he came from money and I don't know what he does, real estate or investment or other weird buzzwords that mean nothing, right? So they have a lot of money. And I just want to say, I just hope it's above board. I hope it's above board because they have planes and massive cars and massive houses and all of this stuff. So I do hope the money is above board. And I know she makes a pretty penny being an anesthesiologist. Those people make a crap ton of money. Those doctors make a lot of money. I totally get that, but not the level of the luxury and the decadence that they are displaying. And so I hope his money or his family money or whatever his money makes, I hope it's up to snuff because I love to see it. I love to see it. I love to see the over the top houses. I love to see the private jets. I love seeing the boats. I love seeing the jewelry. I love seeing all of it. Like, I love to see it. I love to see it. I revel in it. It's great. So I hope that I can enjoy the decadence and the luxury without having to turn around and be like, fraud, 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 pay the victims back. I really hope not. So I really hope all of their money is up to snuff so I can enjoy it vicariously without the guilt. Without the guilt. But yeah, but she makes her bank in her own right. Okay, let's go to, I'm going to go to Marisol real quick, and then I'm going to go to Alexia because I have a deeper dive into Alexia. Okay, so Marisol still loves the cockies. She's creating drama, starts rumor behind the scenes, but then doesn't want to get her hands dirty. I foresee a split between her and her bestie, Alexia. I see that there's going to be trouble in that duo. There's going to be trouble in paradise. It was kind of foreshadowed in Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It was kind of foreshadowed there where you could see that they were kind of like having a bit of like enough of each other. They're like, oh, we have to room together. We have to do all of this together. I don't have any space from you. And then I feel like Alexia kind of felt like she had to keep like, not like apologizing for Marisol, not only on Ultimate Girls Trip, I mean like this season too, but just sort of like being identified with her. Like everything Marisol does is now being identified as Alexia. And I think Alexia kind of wants to separate from Marisol a bit. For example, at the party, when Julia was coming for her and Alexia was like, you can fight your own battle. I'm done fighting battles. I'm done getting involved. I got my own stuff going on. And Marisol in the confessional was like, well, I need you to defend me. Like, where's my bestie? I foresee a bit of a break in that friendship. But I do think at the end of the day, they'll come back to each other and be friends. I don't think it'll be a forever split, but I do see trouble ahead in that duo. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now we talked about and I do want to see if Julia can hold her own against Marisol. I want to see more of that, sort of dynamic and that interaction. We'll see. And then I don't think her and Adriana will ever be friends again. I think once Adriana said, the man you were with was sliding in my DMs and he told me he never loved you, that's kind of a wrap on a friendship. But then again, from Adriana's point of view, once you tell the entire world that I am having sex with a married man and I'm not, that's also kind of a wrap on a friendship, right? So they kind of both did each other so dirty. So we'll see. Now, just to do a quick little shout out to Kiki. Hi, Kiki Boo Boo. I love you. She's a fun vibe. I love her light shade. I'm looking forward to seeing more of her this season. And she definitely brought the mess by saying Jody was a rebound to Lisa. But now let's get into Alexia, because this is my theory on what I think is really going on in her marriage. Rock with me on this. Follow me on this. So as we all know, yes, Alexia is very obsessed with image and what people think and the persona of herself and her family and her relationship. Well, okay, duh. Basically, everybody on this show is obsessed with image and what people think, or else they probably wouldn't be on a reality show. So I'm not really mad at her about that. But I think the real issue in her marriage with Todd has nothing to do with Adriana, has nothing to do with the show per se. I think by default, and I'll get a little bit more into that. I think and I don't think anybody's cheating. I don't think he's cheating. I don't think she's cheating. I think the real issue is that Todd is a healthy masculine man. I think he's very emotionally intelligent. I think he has really effective communication skills. And I think that he has a very healthy masculine energy. He seems to me like a very healed, healthy man. On the flip side of that, Alexia, in my personal opinion, is very much in an unhealthy, dysfunctional, codependent relationship with her sons, primarily Peter. Obviously, when I say relationship, I'm not talking sexual. I'm not talking about a sexual relationship at all. So just clear that up for the people in the back. Duh, not talking sexual. But the real man in Alexia's life is her son, Peter. Yes, we know Frankie. Yes, we know what happened to Frankie. Yes, we know he is more, he has more needs. I totally understand that. I get that. But the real person that Alexia is married to has always been her son, Peter. Always. She has always enabled him. She's always coddled him. She's always supported him. Even when he got arrested for fighting his girlfriend, physically fighting his girlfriend. Alexia was defending him. Oh, there's two sides to every story. She's really crazy, blah, 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 blah. It's like, this is the same son who fought a homeless man. Remember, her son had fought the homeless guy and got in trouble with it? You know what I'm saying? And then also, what's also very telling is Todd foreshadowed her son Peter going to jail. He was like, if you don't stop, if you don't change your ways, you're going to get arrested. You're going to end up in jail. And then it happened. He got arrested and ended up in jail. And then also last season, Todd was very clear, like, you need to give Frankie the tools to be more of an independent man. Like, yes, you're doing a lot for Frankie, but you're doing it in a way that's actually a disservice. I know he had, his injuries, but people with brain injuries or disabilities, they still can become as independent and as, empowered as they want to be. They don't have to be coddled and enabled in a certain ways. And I actually think Frankie kind of wants more of that. Remember at the very end of last season, he was getting enrolled in the program to help adults who have those types of disabilities and challenges be more independent as their parents, get older, as their parents pass away, trying to get them more equipped for the world to, take care of themselves, yes, with support, but to be more independent because you can still live a fulfilled life, with all of that stuff going on. But she so clearly is in a very toxic, unhealthy, dysfunctional, codependent relationship with her sons. Her man is Peter. Her husband is her son. That's why Todd was disgusted when she was at the dinner talking about, oh, he's moved closer to us now, and I'm really excited about that because I really want to go buy him groceries. And Todd looked like he wanted to throw up, and he was like, you do know he's a 30-year-old man, right? Why are you buying your 30-year-old son groceries? This isn't like I'm popping in for in town and I want to buy my child something nice because I'm visiting them. This is clearly an ongoing issue and an ongoing problem. And I think that Alexia is turned off by Todd because he is a healthy person who is holding her accountable for her dysfunction. And I don't think she wants to get healthy. I think she's very comfortable within the dysfunction of her dynamics with her sons. I don't think she wants to change. And I think that him reminding her of how dysfunctional and unhealthy she is as a parent is turning her off. She had disdain for him and bitterness, and vice versa. I think because he is in his healthy masculine and is just a healthy person in general, I think that in the beginning, her beauty and their dynamic and the fun of everything, yeah, that was sexy. That was a vibe. That was chemistry. But when all of that fades away and you really see the dysfunction in the other person, and you see the lack of that person's not ability, but willingness to change, that is a turn off. That is a complete turn off. And I think that he is, to me, they both, Alexia and Todd, looked very, again, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but I do think they both looked very sad, very depressed, even. I'm not saying like they are depressed people. I think it's situational. We've all been situationally depressed. Everybody in the world, if there's a certain situation going on that is challenging, you can be depressed in those moments. Doesn't mean you suffer from depression, but within certain situations, you can be depressed in it. And so I think it's like situational. They're depressed in it because clearly they're not happy. Clearly it's not working. I don't think they're really having sex anymore because you can kind of tell couples who are having sex and when they're not. They looked kind of disgusted with each other. The dinner was very forced. And again, the entire night, all she talked about was her real man, which is Peter, her son. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about your son all day. Your son's a 30-year-old man who just got out of jail for beating up his girlfriend. I don't really want to talk about you buying him groceries. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear it. And it's very similar to people who are like, oh, my husband is married to work. All he talks about is work. He's always at work. He never has any time for me. So whenever your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your person or whatever is married to someone or something other than you, that is going to cause problems in your relationship. Whether they are married to alcohol, whether they are married to dysfunctional codependent relationships with their children, whether they are married to cheating, whether they are married to work, whether they are married to going out with their friends, it's going to cause problems because you are always going to feel like you are not a priority, that you're not being listened to, that they're not spending time with you, and that you're not good enough and you're less than. You're going to feel like the odd person out in your own marriage whenever somebody else is married to something else. Think about it all the time. People are like, oh, my boyfriend wants to hang out with his friends all the time. Maybe he's married to his friends. My husband works all the time. He's married to marriage. My wife, I don't know, she shops all the time. These are all very stereotypical things I'm saying. I'm not trying to be, stereotypical, but clear examples that everybody kind of gets. You see what I'm saying? And that is what I think is the core issue going on in their marriage. I think Alexia is completely comfortable in her dysfunction. I think she's completely comfortable being in a relationship with her sons. I think she's completely comfortable in that codependent, toxic relationship. And I think that Todd clearly is not comfortable with having a wife who operates on this level of dysfunction. He even said it last season. He was like, you need to talk to someone. You guys need to get some professional help. And they sort of like scoffed at him and just came closer together. And I don't see that dynamic really ever changing. And I think that Todd is realizing this isn't the type of woman I want to be married to. And I think she's realizing this isn't the type of man I want to be married to. I think Alexia wants a man who is going to enable her dysfunction. And I think Todd wants a woman who is in her healthy feminine, her healthy energy, just a healthy person. You know what I'm saying? I think he wants a healthy wife who matches how healthy he is. And I think Alexia wants someone who enables her dysfunction. And I think that is the essence of the breakdown in their marriage. And I also think that he was embarrassed for how out of pocket he got, because I personally really do like Todd, but I didn't like what happened last season with against Dr. Nicole's husband. I forget what his name is, but that to me was really weird. Going, and then they did some social media beef and all this stuff, and then Todd did this weird, super long video apology that was just really weird and bizarre, and people were kind of clowning him for that. I think he's embarrassed how caught up he got in the TV drama and how caught up he got in all of it. So I think that the core problem with their relationship is what I just said. But I think the reason why he didn't go to the dinner was because he's embarrassed. Because you can be a healthy person and still, embarrass the hell out yourself. I'm a pretty healthy person, but there's still times where I'm like, Candy, get your life together, girl. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, better than that. Stop. So I think that's a moment he had. I think he kind of got caught up and kind of got out of character. And he probably feels a little bit embarrassed about how caught up in the reality world game that he was in. And I think it was more ego and being embarrassed about all that stuff, the social media and the apology and how he acted. I think that was like the real reason why he didn't show up. But I think the demise and the breakdown of their marriage is just that you have two fundamentally different people who are in different levels of consciousness and awareness in their life. So that's what I really think is going on with Alexia and her husband, Todd. I don't think there's any cheating. I don't think it's about necessarily anybody on the show in particular. I just think that these two people have quickly found out that they're actually not compatible on an emotional, spiritual, intellectual level. They're not on the same page and they're not compatible. So that's what I really think is going on. So I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So I am going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and talk with me. And then I'll take some of your candy cane questions and comments. All right. Hey, Foxy, what's up, sweetheart? Hey, Tay the Savior. Hey, Foxy says, I do like the new season. I like it too. And I think it's going to get better and better and better. Tay says, I'm enjoying this new season. Me too. Foxy says, it's no Rinna on that show. Exactly. Foxy loves Gertie. Me too. Hey, Korean Breen says, I never watched the Miami franchise, but I enjoyed the two castmates on Ultimate Girls Trip. I found you yesterday watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills review. Thank you. Well, welcome to the Candy Canes. Welcome. Says, I love your style. Aw, thank you. Hey, Jacob, what's up? You want to share?
Hey there. I only have like 5 minutes. I'm at the airport, Candy. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, I'm gonna listen while I'm waiting. I'm literally in line right now to go back home to Philly. But
Aw.
no, I think this was a good episode. But
Mm-hmm.
oh, someone's crying. But do you want to? So as what I really want to talk about was that
Mm-hmm.
Lenny and Lisa thing.
Oh, yes.
I I think that something is. I think
Oh,
he
wait.
is. I think he has lots of bills. I think because I looked him
Mm.
up, he owns quite a few properties in Miami. I'm not going to say where, but they are
Yeah.
expensive, expensive. And when they got that house, it was a much smaller house, and then they tore it down, right?
Those are some
So,
bills.
well, I'm wondering who financed it because I'm just like, I guess you can get a whole lot of money with his income, a whole bunch in loans. But I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. It is a little bit curious about the 8K amount. But also, I keep in mind that I'm not sure what her income is for the show and what that disparity might be. It might not be as much of a difference as we all might think. But again, I don't know because I don't think Lisa could get a house like that on her own, right?
No, definitely not on her own. But to that point, though, it's like, but Shannon Bedore was also on Real Housewives of OC getting a Bravo check, and she got I think it was like even
True,
like 13K or higher than that.
true, true, true,
She got screwed after the divorce because I would have sued my lawyers too for the deal she got.
true.
But
Yeah,
prior to
no, go
that,
ahead.
she got even more
Right,
than
true,
than
true.
8K. And she's living in the OC with frickin' David Bedore.
Yeah, I think she got like 13 and some change for the like
Exactly.
preliminary
For
or
the
something.
preliminary. Right. And I'm like, Lisa's only getting $8,000 a month
Right,
for
it
two
is a
children?
small amount. It is a small. Yeah, I thought it was a small amount.
Me
Um,
too.
but and then just because I'm about to go up here,
Oh yeah.
do you want to know just a few little fun facts about somebody about their real estate?
Yes. Spill all the tea.
Just some fun facts. Oh, you can go. Um, Go ahead. I'm letting people go just so I can be on here a little bit more. No,
Yes.
so, um, oh God, what was I gonna say? So we already knew that what's his face, Anthony and Nicole sold their house for like 44 million and some change. We knew
Mm-hmm.
that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so you know how Lisa's boyfriend lives in Adriana's old house. So
Yes.
that house is on the market right now as of like a month ago. Oh no, I'm sorry, about 2 months ago. And I think they bought it and remodeled it to sell it because it's on the market right
mm.
now for a little under 14 million. I was like, that house is worth that much? I don't know. I was like, okay. But I just thought it was I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe it is.
I
Um,
mean, but don't forget, like Jody is a really smart business guy. So he
right,
was like,
right.
let me get this house to film in and then I can flip it and make some cash.
Right. Well, it's interesting how as soon as the show airs, that house is on the market. I was like, okay, okay,
Pulling a
that's
Mauricio with the agency, right?
right. I was like, okay, I guess that's how you do it. Um, and then oh God, what was the other thing? Oh, I don't. I'm curious about how that the divorce will go with Lisa because I don't see her name on that house. I don't see it. I see Lenny, and I don't know how much that
Mhm.
matters. Like if you co-own it or not. But I'm just like I find it curious that I see him, but I don't see her. Um, so I'm like, uh-oh, and
Yeah.
I don't know, but and Todd and them they rent that place. I don't know if that was a question or not, but I'm like, okay, that's a nice little like 35,000 they're spending a month on something that's not theirs, and that's fine, I guess. But I know that Lenny's mom lives in a similar like building, not that complex, but and he pays for that. He pays for like two or three other properties. So I'm wondering, oh,
Mm.
you got bit like because they take that into account when it comes to how much you get paid, right?
Mhm.
For Really?
Yeah.
Now, I might be wrong. I'm not sure if they take into account just income or debt to income. I'm not sure.
Mm,
But if they take into account debt to income, I don't know. I don't know what she's gonna get because I don't know what money's left. I don't know
yeah.
if there's any money left.
It seems very, very fishy. Do you think he's gonna have to sell some of the properties, like liquidate type
Oh,
situation?
something's got to go. Something's got to
Something's
go.
got to
I think
go.
if he wants to like live it up, because I think he likes to live it up. Because we saw him. I don't know if you watched that Bravo show like years ago, before Housewives of Miami, when it was just
Ooh.
Lenny. I can't remember what it was called, but all right, Kenny, I gotta get out of here. Okay.
Okay, okay. Have a very safe flight, okay?
All right. Talk to you soon.
You too. Be safe. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Natasha, you want to share, sweetheart?
Hey, oh, is he leaving? Was he catching a
Yeah.
flight for real? Oh,
Yeah.
have a
Shout out
safe
to Jacob.
flight,
Shout out to my
right?
candy canes. Yeah.
Yeah, that 8,000 is wild. That
Wild.
is like literal peanuts.
I mean, I can't like.
I don't
I'm
understand the
confused.
victory in that.
Isn't $8,000 what she spends on like purses and shoes and Botox?
That's like her lunch. I'm just kidding, but like,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's
So
crazy.
I think there's something going on with their finances that the math ain't mathing.
Yeah, I feel like I wonder if he's like, when you hear like those like weird midlife crisis guys where they just like go broke trying to keep up with their new girlfriend.
Yep.
Like, I wonder if he's like doing that. Like, he's given her like 100,000 gifts. Like, he's like acting like he's like Kanye West. It's
Yep.
for his ex-wife that has his 2 kids to only get $8,000 is insane.
Insane.
And Larsa, I cannot handle her. She is just cold as ice. I don't think there's a human in there. It's just
Yep.
like, how are you going, like when you're friends with someone, you just intuitively can tell when things are off. If you really have a sense of empathy, you could just have like below average sense of empathy, but as long as you have one and you're close and you actually like pay attention to people other than yourself, you could literally tell, like a stranger could tell something's going on with this girl that's outside of she and I's stupid thing. You know what I mean? And for her, and then
100%.
for her to like sit there and be like, don't cry. Do you want me to cry? She always does that. She always turns around and says, well, I can complain too. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yep.
stop thinking about yourself for once in your life. Like, it's so gross. I'm just
Do you want me
tired
to
of
tell you
it.
what's going on in my life too? That's what she said.
Yeah.
So gross.
She's like, I could cry too. It's like,
Yep.
shut up. It's just disgusting. And you're so right with Alexia. Alexia and that Peter guy. And Todd has been trying. He really gave like a Boy
He
Scout
really
effort.
has been. He did.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Do you think they'll last?
I hope so, but I don't, if she doesn't change, they won't. She's going to need to see the light. I just like see her energy as so stubborn and unwilling to move. This is how we do it. This is how we are. Well, the way you are isn't working. This is why you have so much drama around you.
I think she's still in love with her very first husband, the one who went to jail.
Oh, you think?
I think she's still in love with him. I do. With Peter's dad.
And isn't Peter getting close to his dad because he's out of jail?
Peter and Frankie's dad, yeah. Peter and Frankie's dad. I think she's still in love with him. I think if she could have got him back, she would have. Because I think she likes that type of dysfunction. I think she likes that type of guy, Whereas I think Todd is, sure, he's still sort of like machismo, but he's actually like a healthy person.
And we always joke that her life is like a telenovela, but I think she likes that.
I mean, when people who are always in drama and chaos for a reason.
Right.
You know
it's
what I
not
mean?
just always happening to them. They're contributing to it.
Yeah, if you attract that all the time, there's a reason for that.
you're the common denominator.
Exactly. And there's something about it that you like. You're addicted to the
Yeah.
drama. You're addicted to the story. And I think she likes that. And also like with her father, you know, she replayed it with her second husband. Her father was also, I think, dealing illegal substances and maybe did some stuff like that. And he also turned out to be you know, living a double life because he was gay. And then she married, and then her second husband, same exact thing, leading a double life and was gay.
I know.
So
it's like, what in the
playing
Sigmund Freud is going on here, sweetie?
Exactly. She basically married her father multiple times.
And how is your mom a whole like psychotherapist or psychiatrist and not pull you aside and be like, boo boo, we need to get you help. And I'm not a therapist, but this is ridiculous.
Yep.
You're clearly like stuck in this loop of like repeating these like childhood toxic things that aren't working for you anymore. It's like a hamster wheel.
Yep. 100%.
And shoot, I forget what else I was going to say. There was someone else. Oh.
Ooh. Who?
I don't know. Well, when I saw Amelia Estefan, I just remember him because when I was little, I literally remember going to kindergarten. You know how you have these like core memories? I remember my mom going, okay, we're going to start kindergarten. You want to see your new class? Because we got like an introduction that we went with our parents. And I'm like, okay. And I just remember that song was blasting. And she was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, babe. And I'm like in kindergarten. So I know how to count. I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, Gloria Stefan was a big deal back in the day. I don't think she is anymore, but she's like one of those like staples. She was a crossover at one point, like beyond just like the Latin market. Yeah. She's worldwide more so than Candy Burris.
Ooh, that big Candy Burris shade.
But like, what else? Who else were you talking about? I forget.
What do you think about Gertie?
I've always felt like kind of like indifferent toward her. Like she could be fun sometimes. She's very one-dimensional to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
So I don't go too deep with her because she's not that deep for me. I am interested if she goes after Lenny's current fling's ex. That would be hilarious, actually. I'm like, get it. But yeah, I feel bad for Gertie. Remember Gertie? I was like laughing because I was thinking about like, because you were like, that's just Gertie. And I'm like, remember that like montage of all her facial expressions? She's just like an animated type A personality. And if there's a camera on her, it's gonna be showtime. And that's just it. And it's not like fake. That's just her personality.
Agreed. What do you think about Dr. Nicole?
She's okay. I think there's a little shallowness for her to me that like I personally wouldn't be friends with. I think there's a little like, I don't know, there's like kind of like a judginess side, but not in a good way. But I think that the heat she does get is not warranted. I do agree with you.
I think it comes from intimidation. They're intimidated by her.
Yeah, and jealous. Probably.
And jealousy. Yeah.
I agree with my opinion kind of stands from like last season, how we were talking, there's something off with her husband's money. It just seems unnaturally rich. Like all we know is that he's a lawyer and he does real estate, I guess. I don't know. But like crazy money. He has like almost like billionaire money. And we're just like, wait, what?
Where did this come from? Exactly. What is your last name again? Who is your family? How
like,
what's happening?
Did you happen to work with like Tom Girardi too? Like what's going on?
Exactly. I'm like, I hope it's all up to snuff.
Yeah. Like I really do. Like I'm not like wishing bad on anyone.
Jacob says, we know he's a personal injury attorney and there is money in that.
But isn't that what Tom was? I'm done.
But not the level. He's, I don't know if it's all legit, but who knows? Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I do think they make money. I do think Dr. Nicole makes a lot of money. She's one of the, like, that type of doctor and anesthesiologist is one of the highest paid doctors out there. And
Yeah, that's what I
so,
was saying.
other than like surgeons and stuff like that, totally highest
Exactly.
paid. And yes, I think he makes
Anesthesiologists are known to be like the most well paid of all the physicians. Yeah, because they're always needed. And they and they just go every time there's a surgery. Yeah.
Well, I also think it's because it's so specialized and putting people under. Because like the more specialized you are, the more money you make.
And the risk, like so they have to be the most trained. They're literally putting people close to death and bringing them back to life. It's like really crazy.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
But what about Alexia? I mean, not Alexia. Audrey. What's her name? I always start mixing up. There's too many Adrianas. Adriana's like I can't. It starts becoming. What's her name? Say it again.
Adriana.
Adriana. Okay, Adriana. Okay, Adriana is the other one. Adriana. Adriana is that friend that does get better and kind of like prays for your downfall on the low. And I can't do that. You're right. I know if I'm aware of like someone's giving energy, like whether she's like full blown casting a spell or not, like I just don't even want to be around it because I feel like that kind of energy, it's like almost like curses you in a way. And I just like want it away from me, you know? Like why is there a smile on your face at the thought of me and my husband breaking up? That shouldn't be. Like we're now enemies if there's a smile on your face. Hi. Like, you know what I mean?
It was gross because she was like reveling in it. Like, oh, something's wrong in their marriage. Todd said so, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it was just like, ugh. It was just so gross.
Girl, like why are you this happy? It's weird.
She needs to take a class from, do you watch not Love and Basketball Wives?
No, not like for like years.
Oh, I like basketball. Okay, I'm watching the new Basketball Wives Orlando and the new LA season that came up. But I was going to say, she needs to learn how to deliver shady information like Jackie from Basketball Wives. Because Jackie, she's almost like the matriarch. And she has this way of saying the most effed up information about somebody, but she does it in the way of like, oh, but that's my girl and I'm so concerned and da-da-da-da-da-da. By the way,
she spins it as a way of like being concerned.
Exactly. She brings it in a way where it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm so concerned. We have to help our friend. But by the way, let me tell you all her business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And meanwhile, Adriana is not even pretending to care.
But Adriana she's not just not pretending to care. She is actively in your face, reveling in it.
Like, and there's just full-blown smiling.
Full-blown smiling. And there's just something in me where when people take enjoyment in somebody else's pain, even if I don't rock with you, to take enjoyment in your pain, there's evil. Boom there. There's evil there. I don't like that.
Sinister, sadistic, all of the above.
All of
like she literally makes that face like that you see on the screen right now as she's telling this.
Yeah, she was like,
I'm not even exaggerating.
That's good and blah blah blah. And like I get it. She's mad because Alexia is winning and she's not. But I don't know. It's just something evil about that.
Don't wish for people's downfall. And then
it makes the tea not fun because we're here. I mean, that's what we're watching the show for. We're watching the show for the tea, like what's going on in the marriage, what's happening. So like, yeah, that's totally fine. Yes, girls spill the tea, but like put some sugar in the tea first before you spill it. You know what I'm saying? Like
a spoon, like Mary Poppins said, a spoonful of sugar and lets the medicine go down, you know?
Yeah, she's just being a bitter Betty. And I think it's such a missed opportunity for her. Because I think if she would have came back this season, like more empowered, more liking herself, more like, yeah, like let's do it. She kind of could have like won the season. Because last season she was the underdog and people were rooting for her. And then, and like I said with Alexia is like, even though, yes, she has her dysfunction with her children, but she's also kind of like eating a little bit of crow. And she's realizing how mean she was last season and how maybe unhappy she was. And that's why she was being so mean and so miserable and lashing out at people. And she's actually taking accountability for that. She's like, I saw myself and that's not how I want to be. And she's trying to change and she's showing up differently. So it's like the season where Adriana could have won it. I think low key it's going to be Alexia winning the season. And that
Oh, you think?
when it comes to the two of them, yeah. Because now I'm rooting for Alexia, because at least she has some.
Yeah, because I'm not
I'm not
who's
rooting
like
for
rooting for
Adriana
people's
anymore.
failure.
Yeah, take pleasure in that. Like, girl, go talk to someone. Get some
There's
therapy.
like zero change from last year. There's just like she's still the same. I don't know how do people not like watch themselves on TV? How is it possible for you to see yourself on TV and be like, "Yep, I nailed it. I did everything right. Clearly I'm making the right decisions. We're going to keep doing
right
this."
now.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Like you could see what people say about you, like regardless of whether you call it like haters or what, but like if a lot of people are all saying the same thing about you, you have to step back and reflect and be like, are they being a hater, or is this just how I'm coming off? And I have to take some accountability.
It's actually like constructive feedback, you know?
Yeah.
Because just because somebody says something that you may not like about yourself doesn't mean they're hating on you. It just means maybe they're giving you some critical feedback, you know? Like I've learned that as a content creator and just as a human being, where I'm like, okay, somebody's saying a comment about something that they don't like, or they have an opinion on something. Like, are they just giving me feedback that I can use, or are they being a hater? Because you have to step back and just be like, just because somebody is saying something, you know, about you that you may not like, doesn't mean it's always coming from a negative place. But Adriana is coming from a negative place for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, Larsa, I'm just tired of it. That's weird. I've always thought that was weird. I thought it was creepy. I like said, like, I can't even like think like when I look back and like at any kind of example I could even like closely lean on that would be this is like my little brother, who's like 6 years younger than me. Like when we were growing up, like his friends were very little. Like I knew them when they were little toddlers. Yeah, they're all adults now, but I can't look at them. I'm like, I only remember them when they were like 3, and I'm like, ew. Like, you know what I mean?
There's something very nasty about it to me. Like,
if you knew someone, if you're not the same age and you knew someone as a child, I'm sorry, they're off limits. That's psychologically weird.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, if you were an adult and you were any type of presence in a child's life, and then that child grows up to be of age, it's sex with that said child should be off the table. Like, it's just gross.
If your mind can actually do that, that's weird. Yeah.
Adam said, Larsa is desperate for Kris Jenner to adopt her. Kim and Kourtney ditched her for a reason. True. Very true. Oh, and I think Adam had another question about something. What was your other question, Adam, about? Was it Miami versus Salt Lake? Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. He says, hey, Candy, what do you think about Miami compared to Salt Lake City? I think Beverly Hills and Potomac are on a different level. Well, when it comes to Miami versus Salt Lake City, I think some of the stuff going on in Salt Lake City is kind of choppy and a little bit contrived a little bit, because there's no trust within the women, and their friendships have kind of like really devolved. And as you know, Messy Monica, I can't stand her. And I think she's sabotaging the season in a very bad way. Whereas with Miami, I think that these women, there are still like friendships there. And like I said earlier, yes, they come to spill the tea. Yes, they talk about each other, but it's not in this dark, malicious way. It's in a much more like, we're coming, we're talking about our lives, we're spilling the tea. Not Adriana, because she's a different bitter Betty over there in the corner. But I think in general, I think there's more of an authenticity to Miami that Salt Lake City is kind of missing. I feel like Salt Lake City is kind of just like rinse, wash, and repeat. I'm enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it, but I think it could be better, particularly if they fired Monica.
Miami has real history. Miami, I was just going to say, Miami has real history. Oh, before I just sent you the things with Monica are popping off, by the way. There's more stuff coming out. Okay, first of all,
there's months ago.
We're right. We were
We
we were
were
right.
right.
Yes,
We
the other
were
day
right.
when we were joking that Monica probably stole her ring, because now
Yep.
there's an anonymous person saying that all of a sudden Monica came into money after that ring was gone. I'm not
Right? No
okay, and
wonder she
then
was like, stop talking about it.
and they're saying that call that Heather got was when she found out that the Monica in their system that they were suing for not paying for the services happens to be this Monica. She didn't know they were the same Monica. So she's finding out right
Oh,
at that
that's the
moment.
phone call. And that's why she was like, why would she do this to us?
Exactly. And then here's more. Your
Okay.
boy, the real Andy, posted something about her faking being part of the military to get benefits. It's too
Wow.
much. It's too much.
It's too
This
much.
woman is a whole
Hey,
low
Freddie.
budge. What's her face? Hey,
You want
Freddie.
to share? Sound off.
Hey, Natasha, good to see you as well. Yeah, I mean, Monica's awful. I mean, don't get me
Awful.
started on her. I mean, for me, what's so disgraceful about her is, the whole thing with the Lisa Barlow thing, that is speculation. But when it comes to the lawsuit with Heather, which we do know is true, which we do know Monica has actually done, and she did under a different surname, is Monica had the nerve to actually befriend Heather this season. And that's what we're seeing now on Salt Lake City. But no, she's not admitted to the fact that she sued Heather back in 2019. I mean, it's just like the fact that someone would befriend someone that they're suing and did them a botched operation. That is the snakiest of the snakiest
What in the
person
OC?
I've ever heard of in my life.
It's reminding me of the OC. Remember that one lady?
Yeah.
That was on for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. And then Heather got her kicked off. Yeah.
Oh, no, Heather.
Shout out to Heather. I love Heather. I love Heather.
Shout out to Heather.
Shout out to Heather, bro.
I like Noella on the show, and I think she's needed back. I'd personally fire Tamara and put Noella back on, but that's another story.
No, it was that other girl that was
about
like
the other girl.
that used to date.
She was a friend of, and she had befriended Heather Dubrow, and then it turned out that years ago she had sued Terry's company for like a botched food job.
Nicole James.
Other girl.
That
Her.
Nicole James. Yeah, or Nicole Reese, as was her married name.
And it's identical because this is actually more parallel because the fact they didn't recognize her because she was under a different name. Monica was on a different name now too. And so maybe that's why she freaked out when her mom said the other name.
Maybe.
I mean,
Monica's crazy.
I just think Monica can't be trusted. I mean, I'm sorry, but if one of you had done my fillers or my Botox and you'd fucked up, I would not be either of your friends, and I would not be making an effort to be friends with you. I'd be like, no, I'm down with this lawsuit. I'm suing you. But it just shows how psychopathic, how desperate this Monica woman is. I don't trust her. And anyone that's actively willing to hang out with Jen Shah and knew about this. And Monica's like, well, I testified and everything. I think Monica did ride the gravy train for a bit. And then when it didn't suit her is when she was sort of like, oh, yeah, I'll testify.
100%. I agree with you 100% on that. I think she would have milked it for as long as she could. But then when her friend in the FBI or the Fed gave her the heads up to get out, that's when she jumped ship. But it wasn't because of her like morality. It was because she was like, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to get caught in this. But she was she would have milked it. Yeah.
My thing with her is actually, I don't actually believe she had a friend, as she puts it in it. Ooh. I think they knew. I think my theory is, I think Monica was a part of it, but because she wasn't the main player, one of the main players, she wasn't one of the people defrauding them. They said, listen, we know you're part of this scam. You're not one of the people like robbing these people.
I think I know what you're going to say, and I think I agree.
You're going to go to like jail or get a criminal record or you testify.
That's exactly, I think so too. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we know that you're involved. You're not really that involved, but you can still get in trouble too. So unless you want to stay out of jail, then we're going to need you to cooperate. And then she just lied and said she knew somebody.
Yeah. I wouldn't surprise me
Agree.
if that's what happened.
That feels right in my heart too.
I want to know the real reason why she's finally divorcing her husband, Mike. Because her divorce just got finalized like 2 weeks ago.
Who, Monica's?
Monica's, yeah. She announced at BravoCon that she had just finalized her divorce with Mike a week and a half ago. And I was under the impression that she was divorced this whole time. But she wasn't. She was still legally married to Mike. And then I was also under the impression that he like abandoned her and the kids and she was like some single mom struggling. But that's also a lie. Turns out she was in a different interview, probably slipped up or before she got big or whatever, saying that her and Mike are great co-parents and that he does support her financially with the kid.
She said it in a confessional on Salt Lake City.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But I know all the kids that she has are Mike's, apart from the 17-year-old daughter who's from a previous relationship.
Yeah,
which we
her
don't
first
know
marriage.
who the father of that child. We don't know who the father of that child is, though.
Right.
Yeah, but the three younger ones, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
She's a mess.
Because she said, like, oh, we got divorced because she was having sex with her brother-in-law. But then she said, no, the real reason why we got divorced is coming up and you haven't seen it yet. And she filed for divorce the second time only in June of this year. And then it just got finalized. So we still don't know why she really got divorced.
I mean, to me, anyone that boasts about having an affair with their brother-in-law is clearly
with zero remorse.
But yeah, exactly, Natasha.
Yeah.
With zero remorse. Clearly, they have issues, and clearly that anyone with the correct sound of mind wouldn't trust them as far as they could throw them. Quite frankly.
That's what I said. It's like, I'm not, and I wasn't even saying it as like a judgy person, like, oh, she's a whore, I better stay away. I'm saying, no, this is a testament to someone's moral character. This is a person who successfully was willing to lie to their friends and family and betray them for a year and a half. And she doesn't show remorse. That's not someone you should be around.
Yeah, it's like with Jennifer Pedentry from Real Housewives of Orange County. Yes, she cheated on her ex-husband and had an affair, but she does show remorse for that, and she does say she regrets the way things went. Whereas Monica,
she understands.
Jennifer understands, whereas Monica, it was more or less like a boastful like point she was trying to make in the confessional.
Yeah, like
it was like she just felt like she felt like it was going to come out. So she just decided, she's like, yeah, I did it. So what kind of thing. You know what I mean? It was like, she knew it was going to come out. So I might as well tell you guys now. Hi. No regrets. So bye. Like, I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
Monica's very scary to me. I think she's a very weird, evil person, pathological liar. Gives me all of the creeps, all of the vibes.
Oh, yeah. Well,
she has the same energy as Jen, like that desperation and that weird look in her eye.
Yeah.
But I respect Jen more than I do Monica.
True.
I didn't respect either of them. I really don't like either of them, quite frankly. I think they're both sketchy and people I would not want to associate with, even if you paid me millions of pounds. I just think they're the two most awful people possible. And I hope that Monica doesn't return. I hope that Bravo accepts that they need to find someone that fits in with these women better. And Monica might think that she's got tea on people, but my suspicion is that she hates Lisa Barlow based on the fact that she has zero tea on Lisa. So she's thinking, how can I piss this woman off?
Yeah, and she's jealous. Adam says, Adam says, if you were forced to pick two of these three to hang out with, who would they be? Monica, Adriana, or Robin?
Oh, that's a pretty awful choice.
Yeah.
I would probably
Honestly, maybe Adriana.
I'd pick Adriana because, yes, although I think she's desperate and is a bit washed up, she's the least annoying out of the three of them.
Yep.
Robin, I would hang out with the sole purpose of asking why she enjoys being the resident doormat of Potomac. And why, like, did she get back with Juan because she gave up of trying to find a new man for herself, or like what's the deal behind that? And why you enabler? Why is she an enabler? That's what I would want to know. Monica, I mean, we all know her true colors. Not worth my time. Is my answer.
I mean, anyone, but I mean, yeah, it's just like, okay, you did that with your family. Okay. You're humiliating your mom. Okay. And you were once associated with Jen. Like, that's too much. You have too much red flags. It's like red flag city. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew Monica was a fraud from day one. From day one. I was like, this chick needs to go. I knew she was a fraud. And I think there's going to be even more coming out about her. Like, I still, like, yes, the beauty lab thing and the suing thing, yes. But I think there's still something else even bigger that's going to come out about her.
Well, they're alleging about the army. That's crazy. That's like, isn't that jail?
I
saw this receipt. Yeah.
Yeah.
To receive military benefits by faking being part of the military is insane.
That's insane.
Like, that is immediate jail.
How flawed the system in the USA is then if they're able to do that. It's a bit like the benefit system in the UK is flawed, where I'm sure, you know, people are getting away with this type of stuff. And it just makes you question, why isn't the US government, why aren't the UK governments reviewing this? It's evident fraud. And clearly, if Monica's doing it, there are other people out there that are doing this.
Look, if Tom Girardi's doing it,
right.
You know, it's like we were talking about the other night about how flawed our system is, you know? Hey, Emmanuel, welcome, sweetheart.
Hey, Candy. This is the first time I call in, but, you know, I'm in the chat every once in a while. But I just needed to come in because I need to talk about Monica because I can't stand her. When she first came onto the show.
Right place, baby.
Yes,
come on home.
When she first came on the show, I was like, you know what? Let me give her a chance. She's Latina. I like the representation. The first red flag was that she was Jen Shaw's assistant. But then when I saw that she brought her mother into the show to humiliate her and disrespect her for a storyline, that's where I was done with her. And then the other major red flag is it's one thing to cheat, but for you to cheat with your husband's brother-in-law, that's a whole different type of foul behavior. I don't trust this chick. I think she's a con artist. I think she's a fraud. And I just don't like her. And listen, I'm not even a big Lisa Barlow fan, but she even got me being on Lisa's side. She's completely immature. That argument they were having, she has no control. And there's something wrong with her.
I agree. I from the moment she was on our screen, my little inside Candy antenna went bing, ding, 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 ding. And I was like, this chick is whack as hell. Her fake tears, because this is the thing, you always have to watch people's eyes. The eyes are the window to the soul. And anytime she would cry or try to like play the victim, she would always kind of look to see like what your response to her was. Like, are you buying this? Is this working? And then she would get a little smirk on her face.
Yep.
Like, go back and watch her. It's very sick and twisted and weird. And then I was just like, this woman's just lying. And then she would parrot back to people what she thought would trigger them into empathizing with her. Like with the whole conversation she had with Heather Gay about Heather Gay's mom abandoning her. Then all of a sudden, because Heather Gay started out saying, oh, I felt very, like abandoned by my mom when I left the church. We have a very estranged relationship. We all know Heather Gay and her mom really beef, and they actually really don't talk. And And then all of a sudden, messy Monica says, oh yeah, well, my mother abandoned me when I was 12 years old and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you're parroting her trauma story because you want to trauma bond with her. Not because this is the truth about what happened to you, but you're manipulating her emotions. I saw through that so fast. And she did the same exact thing to Angie K. Because remember the next last episode when her and Angie K met up and Angie K brought her and the kids like the books and everything because she had lost her mind at the Easter party. Mm-hmm. And then Angie K opens up about her mom and how she lost her mom at such an early age when she was like 8. And then Monica does the same thing. She parrots back, yeah, my mother was never there for me and it was always toxic and like there's so much going on. And it's just like, girl,
yep,
you are pathological and freaking crazy. And I've had your number since day one.
I think Monica's the type of person that she, obviously the other day we were talking about how like Tom Girardi, Jen Shah have this like, it's the thrill of the scheme. Whereas I think Monica gets a thrill out of like befriending people and screwing them over. So like he knew that she'd screwed Heather by suing her, but she was getting this whole thrill out of how close could she actually get to Heather? How much could she exploit her vulnerability?
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, I think so too.
Yes.
I think her weird narcissism thrill definitely came out of like being able to like manipulate people's emotions and connect with them in a manipulative emotional way. Like there was something off when it came to that, especially with Heather. And I think that's why Heather got so mad, because she's like, as we see, she's kind of batting for her a little bit. She's kind of like, because she kind of started to fall for the gag a little bit, but then realizes that this is the same Monica that sued her and vice versa. She's probably like, are you serious? And goes off.
I think Heather Gay doesn't really, I think she cares about that, sure, but I think the reason why she's really pissed is like, you don't come from my business. Like, right. You don't come from how I like support myself and my family. Like, you don't come from my business. I think, sure, the whole like you befriended me thing, but I think the real issue is like, you stiffed my business and then you countersued, and like that could affect like literally the business I'm building. I think that's really more of what it is. Cause it's like, you want to be a little kiki on the show. All of us aren't really friends in real life. It doesn't really matter anyway. You know, we're all kind of forcing and faking stuff for storylines, but in real life, you are countersuing my company. In real life, you stiffed us out of like $2,000. Like, I think that is really what is the stickler of it. And like, I think it was Adam said like, no, Amy said Ringgate. I'm waiting for Ringgate too to come out. And now we know why the entire cast was shunning her at BravoCon. Because who wants to talk to someone who's actively suing people, lying about their lives, cussing their mother out in every single scene, and allegedly stole Lisa Barlow's ring?
Yep.
I mean, I think the thing with
according to Dumas, it just says its subject is broke criminal snowflake. And it says the lies are flying around Salt Lake City from the broke snowflake who allegedly mysteriously got a lot of money after the main snowflake, aka Lisa, I added that, lost her $60K uninsured piece. Want more tea? Allegedly, all the snowflakes are sure that the broke snowflake stole the piece. One of the many reasons why no one wants her on the show anymore. But the broke snowflake probably will blame her mom.
Yeah, and you know what? I totally believe Linda when she says that Monica brought her onto the show and blindsided her by acting this way. And, you know, I don't want to be insensitive. I understand some people do have issues with their parents. I'm fortunate enough not to, but I still feel like there is some respect that you still owe your parent. And it's one thing for her to be disrespectful, but for her to be doing this on a national platform takes it to a whole international level.
Ruin this lady's life.
Exactly. I mean, but listen, Candy, I gotta go.
Okay.
But you know what? I agree with it, y'all. You keep doing your thing, and I'll catch y'all later.
Yeah, bye. Come up anytime. Good to see you, sweetheart.
Bye. Bye, see you soon. I have to agree with that. I mean, to me, it seems that Monica has absolutely no respect about the fact that her mum was a single parent for pretty much all of Monica's life, which really isn't easy, particularly in somewhere like America where you don't have like private health care, like you don't have like state health care and all of that type of stuff. Like it's bloody hard. And Monica seems to have no appreciation for that whatsoever. And I think the thing with Heather as well is what I get is, Heather's a single parent, this business is her bread and butter, and Monica's more or less wanting to take a shit on it. So yeah, if I were Heather, I'd be completely pissed off as well. Like, who does this?
And really
think
that.
is?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's sort of like with it's like, who do you think you are, Monica, for being such a fake little fraud? I mean, with the Lisa Barlow ring, the fact that Monica even went out of her way to try and make out that she like looked in the sanitary bin. And I think the whole thing is that Monica got particularly defensive when Lisa kept bringing up the fact that she'd lost this ring. And again,
that's
this
true.
Was and yeah, it might seem insensitive. You might not have, but to lose something that's worth £60,000, I think, that is a big deal. Like, I'd be really pissed off. I'd be really annoyed. And it would be in my head for quite a while, knowing that I'd lost something, of that value. It really
and sentimentality too. Like, it came from her husband.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is crazy. And you're right. Like, when you think about it, like the way like she was like overacting about that whole situation, it's almost like she was overcompensating. And so like, what if she actually did steal it? And then that was her way of kind of like trying to look like you know what I mean?
Yeah, because she's sort of like, oh, Lisa Barlow's the only one that talks about designer clothes and living a rich life. But it's like, but yeah, that's not true. Like all the other women, apart from you, Monica, are head to toe in designer clothes. Is the reality.
And like Candy said, she worked for freaking Jen Shaw. Hello.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy of it all. You weren't triggered by Jen Shaw. Why are you triggered by Lisa Barlow?
Because like, she low-key allegedly stole her ring.
I think she did steal it. I bet you she found it, and when Lisa was like, "It's worth $60,000," she was like, "Okay," and now I'm putting it in my pocket.
And she like slid it deeper into her pocket. Yeah.
100%. No, Monica is a shady person. Shady person. And I cannot wait for more to come about her, because I knew it. I was like, wait, you guys, stuff is gonna come out.
And I agree with the Heather thing too. Like, what I was saying is that like here she was trying to take your side, and to find out that this woman is coming for her business, like that's a whole other thing. It's like when you realize that someone was like actually against you the whole time when you were nice to her, you know how that makes you feel? You're like, I was nice to you. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the reaction we're seeing.
Heather was one of the people in particular I found that has been backing Monica up so far.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
Well,
I just think it's just so snaky. I mean, it's the snakiest thing I have heard in a long time. I mean, it just leaves a poor taste in my mouth. And I don't even know Heather. I'm not friends with her. She's not my favorite cast member, but I feel sorry for Heather. And that would leave so I can't even begin to imagine the type of taste that's left in Heather's and her family's mouth, in all honesty.
Yep.
And because suing because of something botched, just like the reaction that Terry had, that could jeopardize a reputation. That could literally ruin a business.
I don't believe it. I mean, I've looked at Heather's business, and in fairness to her, she does have incredibly good reviews. A lot of people like what she does. You know, she's got certified people that are doing things. She's not just getting random people off the street to do it. Mm-hmm. So I personally do find it hard to believe, based on my research of Beauty Lab and Laser, that there would have been a problem with it being botched.
No, because you have to put into account, like, the woman Nicole who sued Terry, the lawsuit's different than Monica suing Heather, because one, the Nicole who sued Terry, she sued him first, saying you botched my boob job, whereas Monica is countersuing Beauty Lab and Heather because they sued her first for not paying her bill. So basically, countersuing is just a way of her trying to get out of accountability. Like, oh, you want to come for me because I didn't pay for you? Well, I'm going to malign your company and say you did a botched job, and that's why I didn't pay, because they're trying to force Heather to dismiss her lawsuit first. And so to me, I'm like, Monica, you don't have a leg to stand on. If you're, injectors or Botox, whatever the hell you got, were so botched, then like, why didn't you sue her in the first place? Why didn't you talk to her and say, hey, I don't feel comfortable paying for this service because of what happened to me. Can you fix it? You just skipped out on your bill entirely. And the only reason why you are countersuing is because you're trying to get out of it. So Monica is like snake on snake on snake on snake. But it's a little calmer for Heather. The punishment doesn't fit the crime for what Monica is doing to Heather by any means. I don't mean that at all. But in my opinion, I do think the biggest reason why Heather befriended Monica was because Monica was going so hard after Lisa. And she knew that she could wind Monica up, put a battery in her back, and then send her off to go attack Lisa. Like on the last episode, when Heather was talking to Monica, she was like, oh, well, Lisa didn't invite me to her brunch, so let me just go throw Lisa under the bus. So, Monica, how would Lisa know about you and your mom's relationship? Does she know about you and your mom's relationship? Oh, well, Lisa said that you're exaggerating. Lisa said you're lying. She doesn't believe your abuse, blah, 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 blah. And then stupid little Monica was all wound up and then attacked Lisa at Whitney's party.
Oh yeah, because Monica was just triggered and mad about the fact that Lisa Barlow wasn't buying into her narrative.
Yep.
And so it really pissed her off when Lisa basically said, you don't deserve to have a mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, Monica is being a little prick. Like, Monica is being a prick. She really does not deserve to have a mother with her behavior, frankly. And I hate to be that rude, but you are.
I agree with you.
You treat your mom like crap. And you have no understanding of the facts that, Linda, I do believe, has some issues. Yes, she needs some help. But Monica seems to have no consideration at the fact that Linda was doing this whole parenting thing alone. It was not like Linda was like happily married. She had a man helping her with these things. Like, Linda was the sole provider. So they were in Pennsylvania. It would make sense she'd have to go to New York, because that's probably like that's the if you
where the market is.
New York is probably the nearest place where all the jobs are at that's going to make as decent as money as she possibly can earn.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you should have been on our discussion when we did Salt Lake City, because you are like preaching to the choir, and I love it.
Yeah, you're literally like just saying what we said in an English accent. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I love
it. At the end of the day, New York is one of the most expensive cities in the world. It's one of it's like one of the financial
and it's been like that for decades. Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like someone if they lived in like, I don't know, Yorkshire, and their parents had to go to London to work.
Yeah.
London, New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, they're the most expensive cities to live in the world. So if Linda's got a basic job in New York, that completely makes sense when she's saying, well, I couldn't afford to rent somewhere in New York City for both of us. Because it's so expensive. That's why. It completely makes sense. Linda's not lying about that. I mean, that's facts. That's not even something that people can argue with. It's a known fact. New York is one of the most expensive cities to live in the world.
Like, it's $2,000 and you get a shoebox, literally.
Yeah. And another thing, how A, Monica's just like a liar. I don't believe a word that comes out of her mouth. And then B, her lies make her hypocritical, not relatable. Because think about it. She lied and said, oh, my mother abandoned me when I was 12 and she went to New York to trace her dream and she just like left us with these people. And then obviously her mom came out with her TikTok and was like, that's not true. I went to New York for a job. I left her with like our close family friends while I tried to like, get money and find a safe place for us to live, right?
So Monica was acting like her mom was trying to be a pop star or an actress or going on a reality show.
Even if she was being a pop star or an actress, she still has that right. She still has the right to do it. You know, say her mother was going off to fight to be in the army. You know, would you ever be like, oh, you're abandoning your child because your job takes you overseas or wherever you have to be stationed at? No, you would be like, okay, you're doing what you want to do. No matter what her mother job was or wasn't, she had the right to do it and she left her with safe people. Now, where Monica is hypocritical as hell and a big fat liar is this. So she's crying about, oh, my mom left me to chase her dream in New York, blah, 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 blah. But didn't Monica leave her children with her mother to chase her dream of being a reality TV star? When she said, oh, mom, I need you to watch my kids while I go on the girls' trip to Palm Springs. But then all of a sudden, you want to act like your mother is this horrible, abusive person that your children are scared of and don't even want to be around and lock the door so grandma doesn't come in. So which is it? You know what I'm saying? Your mother was so abusive and like abandoned you to chase her dream and left you with these horrible people. But yet we saw you 2 episodes ago abandoning your children to chase your dream of being a reality star with this horrible, abusive grandmother. So it's like, girl, you're being the biggest hypocrite and you're lying. Your mom is not this abusive monster. She didn't abandon you. She went to go to New York to chase a dream or to get a job. Either way, she did the best that she could do in that moment. Because the thing is, if Monica's mom would have went to New York and became an amazing singer or an amazing actress, no one would be like, you abandoned your child. You'd be like, oh, wow, you went to New York and you made it and you made this like beautiful life for your child. So when Monica's mom went there and was like, okay, this isn't working, she went back, got her daughter, and then moved to Arizona where they could live more comfortably, where she could make more money and have more space for her. So either way you slice it, Monica's mom didn't do anything wrong. Monica's just a pathological liar, and her lies make her a hypocrite.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. So you're leaving your kids with their toxic mom to go to Palm Springs, and that's cool because your mom's not toxic.
For this Bermuda trip, who's looking after his kids when she goes on that, because it sounds like if she hates Linda, her mum, so much, clearly Linda's not going to be looking after them.
There you go.
Yeah, that she's okay with letting a Bundy watch her kids, apparently.
Yeah. Ted Bundy. Yeah, ridiculous. Cancer Queen says, hey, Candy, are you going to recap Real Housewives of New Jersey? Probably not, and I'll tell you why. I am very intentional about the community that I cultivate here. And I'm going to be honest with you, the people who are Jersey people, not us people, they are so toxic and weird and bizarre. I don't want that energy on my channel. And that's why I'm not going to review Jersey, because like
I literally don't watch it.
They are, I mean, the fans, the audience, like you say one thing about Tree or you say one thing about Melissa and they will like try and like tear you apart. It's crazy. I like my audience of like our Beverly Hills, our Potomacs, our Salt Lake City, our Miami, but the New Jersey people are just too much. And I don't want to bring that toxicity over to our people. Other than that, I would.
I mean, I'll be doing it. I mean, I don't really care about what.
Ready?
I love it. He's like, well.
He's like, I'll be doing it.
He's like, I'm safe across the pond.
I don't really give a shit what other people think. If you want to disagree with me. If you don't want to watch, don't then
He's
watch.
like, I'm over here in Dubai. I don't care.
Not mine.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll do like episode 1 and 2 and see how it goes when it comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, do. I think you should.
I will.
And who cares about the cliquey people?
Turn off the comments.
I mean, I think, people are going after other people who are more on the fence with those two. Then there's a certain ex-Real Housewives of New Jersey person that's been a bit on the fence lately. But that's another thing. sort of feel, Candy, that we sort of made you digress and go into Salt Lake City rather than recap Miami.
Oh, I'm totally here for it. I spent an hour and a half on Miami. We're good.
You have. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Like wherever the conversation
Yeah, we
goes,
covered Miami.
Fine. Yeah,
I
we
want
got
to say,
Miami.
though, I'm so excited about Dr. Nicole and Anthony's new house, though.
Me too. I live vicariously through her. It's not even
Freddie,
funny.
do you have suspicions about where this money is coming from, though? Or do you think it's all legit?
I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, yeah, he's an attorney, and yes, they make a lot of money, but to be in that type of bracket...
Agreed.
Right.
You know, it's like, what are you doing? Maybe he has other businesses that he's not really talked about on the show. If he does, fair enough. Maybe, I don't know, he's invested money well, but it's like, you know, attorneys do well, but do they really have, like, you know, 21.5 million to spend on a house? And then with this new Coral Gables house,
and have planes and boats.
They're spending an additional... So they bought this new house that we saw in the first episode for $21.5 million in Coral Gables. And they are spending an additional $10 million on renovations. And they sold their last house in Journey's End, which was also in Coral Gables, to Jeff Bezos' parents for like $44 million. So they've been smart with property decisions.
They've been smart with
property. I do question where they've got all this money from in the first place. It is, yeah. I mean, I have to admit, it is suspicious. I mean, I see Adam sort of saying the same thing as well in the chat.
Yeah, Adam literally just goes, "What's the deal with Lisa and her housing situation?" Oh no, just kidding. That's Lisa. But yeah, like I don't know. It's just like you said. I understand anesthesiologists make great money. They're one of the top paid types of physicians. Lawyer, especially that kind, great money. But this is a next level kind of money. And even those two jobs combined aren't adding up to the level that we're seeing. So it's like, I would just like to know, like, what other things are you doing? I don't know. Because the last time we saw this sort of thing, it didn't end too well.
You know? That's true. And then, like, Anthony's law firm, there have been a lot of questions around that as well. I mean, a lot of the house husbands, I would say both Anthony and what's his face, Alexia's guy, Todd's businesses aren't exactly clear cut in what they do. There is a lot of questions I would have around what they do, personally. But that's just
even Todd too.
Same.
Yes.
I didn't hear about Todd's.
There's a lot of things. I'm sort of gathering the facts actually as we speak on that. There are a lot of things I feel that have not added up exactly of where he's got certain amounts of money from in the first place. But that's my personal opinion, and that's something I'm looking into to try and find evidence to sort of verify certain details.
Yes, I love a Freddie investigation.
Me too.
I know.
Me too. Something's just not right.
I know. Yeah, so that's where my questions are. I just like, that's my only thing. And I like Nicole. I don't think she deserves a visceral she gets. Although, is she perfect? Is there some qualities about her that like kind of get on my nerves? Yes. But like I said, like we talked about, I definitely think a lot of what comes against her is just coming from jealousy.
Yeah.
Envy.
I personally really like Nicole. I actually think she's the MVP.
I agree. I love her.
Oh, wow.
I think she's so cute, so fun, kind of quirky in a weird way. And she's aspirational. You know? That's why I'm like, please let your money be good. Because like, I want to live through you.
She offers everything you could want out of a housewife. You know, she's got the wealth. she's got an interesting life, she's hot, she's entertaining. I mean, it's like, what? And she gets into the drama, she spells it out, you know, she's not afraid of going up against people like Alexia or Larsa Pippen. And you know, and I think that is important. You've got to have the lifestyle, and you've got to be a shade assassin to be an MVP. And I think Nicole Martin does tick a lot of boxes.
I agree. And you know what I also like about Nicole? She's not a bitter Betty. Because a lot of these housewives are kind of dried up, washed up, desperate, hanging on, and there's a bitterness to them. And I think that Nicole is so fresh, she doesn't have that bitterness to her. So when she does throw the shade and when she is doing stuff, it's like light and fresh and fun because there's not that bitter, stale energy to it. Like Beverly Hills is exactly. Larsa is a bitter Betty. Adriana's a bitter Betty. The majority of the women on Beverly Hills are bitter Betties, to be honest with you. Even my favorite are bitter Betties too.
I would say that though that Larsa Pippen in particular is jealous of Nicole because Nicole's living the lifestyle that Larsa once had, whether that was through the Kardashians and doing her desperate, I want to be Chris's adopted daughter or whatever she wanted to do with that. And then being, you know, Scotty's wife, you know, and actually Scotty lost a lot of money. Yes, they had 50 million, I think, in the end when they got divorced and it got split, you know, 50-50 apparently. But Scotty allegedly lost about 100 million in really bad investments before that. And I think,
I am not surprised by that.
But Nicole's like younger than her and sort of has the lifestyle that Larsa used to have, but now she doesn't have all of Scotty's money and she's got less of it. She's not in that same position anymore. And I think that is a, you know, it hurts Larsa's ego because she used to be the young, you know, I have everything when she first joined Miami. And now Nicole's the one that's doing that for us.
Agreed. And like, not to age shame, because, you know, we don't do that over here. But I think when it comes to Larsa, I agree with you. I think that she's a little jealous because Nicole, how old is Nicole? 40s, 30s? Is like younger, fresher, has the money, has the body. You know, like Larsa's body to me is a little played out and want. And I think that Dr. Nicole is just like such a fresher, younger, richer, hotter version of what Larsa wishes she could have been.
Yeah, I mean, and Larsa's was, Nicole's 38.
Yeah, there you go.
Larsa's just done all the surgery. She's gone, how can I be the budget Kim Kardashian? And that's backfired on her and it's not worked out. And so she's jealous that people like Nicole are finding their own way and doing well without trying to have to emulate other people.
And I think Larsa especially hates the fact that even without Nicole's husband, Nicole still would have been like, you know, at a somewhat of a level just from her career. And remember when the whole thing, and that's why she like spun that stupid, I believe is a rumor about like her being with all the doctors.
That was
a lie. That was
complete
a lie.
Nonsense.
She was just saying that because she was being a bitter Betty. That's what I mean. Like, Dr. Nicole doesn't have that bitterness in her. And from that place of bitterness, of course, Larsa's saying all this stuff. And I agree. I think it was a lie because she's jealous. Hey, Odie.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you, sweetheart? You want to chime in, share?
Yes. Okay. I think we're going to start with Larsa. Larsa, you have no sympathy, okay? I think Larsa is literally
terrifying.
Like, she is terrifying. Have you seen the Botox in her face? It's just like, Larsa is very rude. She's just mean-spirited. I don't know what they were doing back
He's
in
doing
LA.
whatever she can to keep her toy boy, who, let's be honest, I don't think is going to want her in a couple of years. Marcus is not going to want her. He's the type, you know, his parents had divorce. He's got a bit of like mummy and daddy issues. And I suspect that, you know, Larsa's like the hot MILF that he's wanted to shag. And that's going to fulfill him for a couple of years. But, you know,
Not
he's
for long.
never going to... Like, at the end of the day, Larsa's naive as hell if she thinks that Marcus Jordan is going to marry her. Not going to happen.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, he definitely gives like some kind of like weird, like, I don't know, like he needs therapy, nepo baby that like never really had to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Larsa's like, he's one of those things, had a bit of a thing for a MILF, like wants to shag Lars, like Larsa's like the MILF he wanted to shag. And he's gonna, like, that novelty, I think, is going to run out for him, and he's just going to ditch her. And it will be very soon, I believe. And the fact that even Michael Jordan doesn't approve of her, because he knows that Larsa's a grafting little social climbing wannabe. So he does
a media.
So, you know, the fact that the parents don't trust her, I think, says it all. And I think most
Poor
men
Scotty
do value what their parents say. I mean, I feel Scotty. I feel bad for Scotty. You know, Michael Jordan was always the main one on the team, and now Lars is basically saying, and now a Jordan's better in bed than you are. I mean, it's not great.
Wow.
Yeah. Go, Odie. Just jump on in, Odie.
Okay, I feel like Larsa, this is the same person that had sex with Future and Gucci flip-flops. These are the same person that literally clown Kim. Like, this is the same person that literally slept with Tristan Thompson. You guys had to remember, she is billed as a media whore.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She's just gonna literally she's gonna mess with anything just to get attention. She did it with her marriage.
Yeah, Chloe stole Tristan from her.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, actually, though.
But Tristan was in a whole relationship.
I don't, but it's still nasty, though. Like, he's sleeping with like your family friend and your friend, and then you sleep with him. She did the same thing to Trina, because Trina was dating French Montana, and Trina was friends with Khloe Kardashian, and she started sleeping with French behind Trina's back. And then they got into the relationship. So Khloe Kardashian, ugh.
But I don't believe don't believe that Larsa was dating Tristan Thompson. We never heard of these rumors. It's only come from her, and like.
But I think they were smashing.
Yeah.
I think they were smashing 100%. I think he was having sex.
I think he probably smashed Larsa once, and that's it. I don't think he was going on dates with her, and that this was a long-term thing. I think he probably met her at some club in Miami, had a one-night stand with her at some hotel or a penthouse, and that was it. That's my belief. I don't... But Larsa's trying to paint this picture as that she was properly dating Tristan Thompson, which I just don't believe.
Who knows? I don't think Tristan Thompson has properly dated anybody. I mean, when his girlfriends are pregnant, he leaves them. That's why they call him like third trimester Tristan or whatever it is. Because like every time he gets a woman pregnant, he then leaves her while she's pregnant for another woman. Because don't forget, his other baby's mama was pregnant when he was out there being with Khloe.
Jordan
Khloe. Exactly.
It's his MO. It's literally his MO.
And then when Khloe got pregnant, he was out there cheating on her with other women publicly while she was pregnant. So Tristan belongs to the streets. He doesn't belong to anybody, but it's more about
always
girl
belong
code.
to the streets.
It's more about girl code. It's not so much that Tristan Thompson is this great guy who is like dating someone. It's more like, girl, I was sleeping with this guy, and then you went behind me and started sleeping with him too.
I do think Tristan, though, has got a wake-up call, though, in recent months. Obviously, because his mum died of a heart attack caused by obesity. So,
oh, wow.
Allegedly. So, he, and because obviously he's now the full-time carer for his disabled brother, Amiri. So
and
I
they moved
didn't know
in
that.
with Chloe. Yeah, they moved in with Chloe.
They moved
Oh,
in with
I love
Chloe
that
while
idea.
Kristen's house in Hidden Hills was being refurbished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that maybe that the fact that his mum's passed away has given Tristan a bit of a wake-up call. I don't think necessarily in his behavior of women, but I think it's more he's got a wake-up call in, like, keeping this shit private, keeping it out of the media. I think is what
Right.
Tristan has done.
Odie's, what was your other people's observation?
Gertie, I feel so bad for her. I feel super bad for her because Gertie is a nice person. She's actually genuine. So the fact that Larsa is just sitting there talking about, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Because somebody who's going through mentally, like, they're just not going to learn how to express their problems. So like,
she's overwhelmed.
Yeah, she's overwhelmed mentally and emotionally because she has something in her breast literally developing and just oh my god, not me stuttering like my family.
Anyway, her mortality is at stake. Yeah, and she's thinking about her family. It's just a lot.
Yeah, it's really bad. And Larsa's nasty. She's really nasty. I really don't like her.
Yeah, I don't like her spirit either. You could just tell she's just not a good person. She doesn't have a lot of empathy for others. It's really scary to watch.
Scary. I hope one day.
I know. I was just going to ask, like, who's next? Because I like her.
I think the thing with Gertie that she doesn't like about her is that Gertie's someone that's carved her own way in life. She's got she's made her own business. She's made her own success. Right. Whereas Larsa's relied on, like, spreading her legs for rich.
Yeah, Larsa doesn't like people that do that.
To get her money. Whereas Gertie's made her own. I think even though Larsa, did get the bag by being with Scotty and probably now Marcus, depending on how long that lasts. I think she's still jealous that, Gertie's made her own way and has her own success rather than, not having to rely on a man to get to where she is today.
And that's true too.
That's why I think
what do you think about Alexis?
Oh, I think her marriage is so fake.
Alexis? Oh, Alexia, you mean? Yes.
You mean Alexia?
Yeah, Alexia.
Alexia, sorry.
Her marriage is so fake. Like Alexia, you're talking about, oh, we're not going to get divorced. Clearly, you guys are, something is going on. And she's talking about, oh, yeah, we fight all the time. That's not normal in a marriage. That's not normal. Isn't a marriage supposed to be a partnership, not an arguing ship?
The issue with Alexia, and I think that the thing that will cause issues with her marriage is Peter, the son that she had with the drug guy.
That's exactly what Candy said. Yeah.
The problem is Alexia is one of these typical yummy mummies that sort of enables their child's bad behavior. And she does this by letting it slide when he gets things wrong. I suspect she financially supports him as well, as you've mentioned. He's just one of these typical spoilt brat American kids that just probably smokes dope all day and rides a skateboard thinking, I'm cool. That's the type of person he looks like.
I mean, I know people in Miami, and I heard stories about him. Like, he does coke all the time.
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he looks like a loser. And then, and he seems like just smacked as hell. Like, when he's in scenes, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. Like, him, trying to threaten that he'd, beat up Todd and stuff like that. It was like, you're on something. Like, you're just getting so erratic for no reason.
Because
right.
Okay.
Agreed. For me, it was getting arrested for beating up your girlfriend. That wasn't for me. Like, okay, fine. You want to be a 30-year-old loser, smoking and doing whatever to your body. But when you beat up your girlfriend and get arrested for it, that's when I'm like, you crossed the frickin' line, buddy.
But the girlfriend took him back. That he's with the girlfriend.
Of course she did. Of course she did. Of course she did. Like, unfortunately, a lot of people who are in, abusive relationships take back the abuser. So sad, because he
Well, I
attracted a
think she's
person
one of
just as
those
broken as
types
him.
that likes the fact that her potential future mother-in-law is in the public eye. I think she's one
There
of those.
you go.
But that's my personal opinion.
So sad.
Yep. What about Adriana? Do you think she's a bitter Betty?
She's mother.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's mother. She is literally the mother of the franchise. She literally has a music career, unlike Candace, and she literally is just so much better as a person. And I don't think she should be a full-time because we saw how Marlo worked out. I feel like she should stick to being a friend.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What do you think, Freddie?
I think Adriana, I think she's lost her way, quite frankly, since she got divorced from Frederick. I don't think she knows what she's doing with her life. I mean, she's acting as in a cross between herself, Brandy Glanville, and Leah McSweeney, quite frankly, at the moment. She's drinking far too much. She has no direction. She's just getting messy for the sake of it. And she's just, I don't know. I think she's just
bored.
She's doing everything she can to try and be a full-time housewife. And I think she still can't really accept that Bravo made her a friend rather than a main. But it's like it's because you've lost your way, Adriana. And to me, I don't think her singing's that good. I think the reason she was brought back is that Bravo love to have like a budget little singer on their franchise, don't they? Like you've got Alexia, you've got Adriana, you had Luann on New York, you had Melissa, who was probably the worst of them all, on New Jersey. It's a thing. It's a trend that Bravo like doing. And Adriana's like, the budget singer for that franchise. But I think she's nuts. And then the whole, yeah. I just find Adriana, and then she's like going out with random guys, dating them at the same time, I think she's just... The fact that she was dating so many at the same time, it was like, how do you have time to actually be serious with any of them? It's like I think what she was doing is she was dating so many to sort of think, who's going to give me the most validation the quickest. I think since her divorce, her ego's been knocked and she lacks a lot of validation and she's just lost her way in life. And it's made her a sort of a bit of a washed up, desperate person, unfortunately. And I know that's brutal. I agree. That's what I feel.
I agree. I think she's very bitter and I think she's very lost. And I do feel a bit of sadness for her, because it's like, you must be in a very bad place where you get your joy out of reveling in somebody else's pain.
Because I actually really liked her in the first, when the old Miami was happening, when she was with Frederick. I thought she was a fantastic housewife. I was really excited when she came back. And so when season 4 came out, I was like, what the hell's happened to you? You aren't the person that I was so invested in. Like when the original Miami.
I never understood. Did we ever find out what happened with her and Frederick? Like, I didn't know. I mean, I heard they divorced, but like, I never really learned about the story.
She didn't really get into the sort of specifics of what happened. She basically said that, the marriage didn't work anymore and that they just felt it was best to amicably, end their marriage and end it on good terms. And now, ironically, as they were talking about, Lisa Hochstein's new man, Jody Glidden, has apparently bought Adriana and Frederick's former marital home.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's weird. That is a weird coincidence to me.
Weird.
I think...
okay.
Oh, sorry.
You think that's deliberate from Jody, potentially? I really need to find out her house and find out when he bought it.
Wow. Did you guys notice when her and what's his name, Jody, were flirting?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Wait, Adriana and Jody.
Yes, they were flirting on the camera.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I'm going to have to rewind that scene and give a more investigative eye.
Yeah, she was touching all over him. I'm like, yeah.
She's thirsty. I'm telling you.
She's like
she
that
wants to get that house
guy.
back. She wants to get that house back. She's like, I had sex in this room, and this room, and this
She's
room.
like, I could show you what this house can really do.
Want to go to the cellar,
she
baby?
made a comment about like, oh, I bet you like Lisa's looking at the same wall when she's at the same ceiling when she's being banged by Jodie or something. She said something like that.
Yeah, that's weird. What do you think about Marisol and like how that's going to pan out with maybe potentially her friendship with Alexia? Odie.
Marisol needs rehab. She has a serious alcohol issue, in my personal opinion. She
yeah, definitely. When I saw them, when she like full on had a medical issue from drinking on an empty stomach when they went to Thailand, it's just like, come on, Marisol. But do you think that their friendship is going to break up?
And she has said actually in Instagram lives that she starts drinking at about 10 in the morning. And it's like, it's ridiculous. And she always seems to have something with her. She has serious issues. I think it's deliberate that what's her name? Steve, I think her new man hasn't properly married her, and they did some like Buddha / voodoo, whatever it was, spiritual ceremony because he doesn't really want he doesn't want to be officially married her, and he knows that with this whole ceremony they've done, because it's not legally binding, he can cut and run if Marisol's drinking and just weird behavior gets any worse.
Sound off, Odie.
Marisol's weird. She's an alcoholic.
Like Cannon, you're like Cannibal Lord.
Yeah. No, I just think Marisol, she really needs internally help because first of all, you're drinking all because I know her mom died. I think that's the big reason why she's drinking. But I think what's her purpose on the show? Yeah, she's Alexia's friend, but like, are they really friends in real life? Do they call each other every day? Are they really checking each other? Because Marisol could have checked Alexia about her marriage being fake on camera.
I think the situation with both Marisol and what's her name, Alexia, is it's because they were like OGs and they've been on this for a long time. It's sort of like a whole having integrity for each other. It's just a bond they've developed, knowing that they're in this with a bunch of newbies that are younger than them and things like that. So
it's a history, yeah.
We've got this history, and like we need to stick together if we want to remain on this show and in the good graces of Bravo. That's why they're in it together. But do I think that the friendship's real? Do I think they see each other loads when filming's not happening? No.
It's a system.
I think they just play a game because they know.
I don't know. Remember last season when I think it was when Alexia and Julia got into that thing when Alexia called her a Russian hooker pretty much. And there was a moment where they were at the Keys, I think. And Marisol wasn't there yet for whatever reason. And they were like about to make up. And then literally right when they were about to make up and all the vibes were good, people were getting along, all of a sudden you heard the little click of Marisol's heels and everyone was like, oh God. And as soon as she arrived, that whole like ceasefire between those two came to abrupt stop and then all the vibes went off. It's like she really is that pot stirrer, like Lisa was saying, like just casually stirring the cauldron.
Yeah, that's why I think Alexia is going to try to distance herself from Marisol. That's why she didn't defend her at the New Horizons party. She just stood there and was like, you got to fight your own battles. I'm not doing it. I think Alexia, even though I think her relationship with her son is very toxic and unhealthy and is probably going to be the reason why Todd leaves her. I do think that she had the awareness of how she looked last year on camera. Like the mean girl, the bitterness, the being angry and all that. And she is trying to change that look. And I think she knows a part of that is separating herself from Marisol.
I think at the end
Especially
of
when
the day,
Julia was like, oh, the problem, Marisol, you are the problem in our group. Because nobody wants to lose their spot on the show.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
Go
And at the
ahead,
end of the
Freddie.
day, Alexia knows she's a full-time housewife and Marisol's not. And clearly there's a reason that that's the case. And, you know, and obviously Alexia's thinking, well, I need to keep in with people like Julia, who are full-time housewives. You know, you've got to be, she's realized that she's got to be prioritizing the relationships with the full-time housewives rather than the friends of the show, because it's the full-time housewives that get the storylines and the airtime, not the friends.
But
really.
Kiki gets more airtime
just
than
that.
both of them. That's weird.
I know.
Sorry?
Not Kiki.
Yeah.
I just don't really see what Kiki's role is. To me, she should just be a guest. She doesn't really offer anything.
I think she's a normal queen. Because only Marisol and Adriana have storylines at least.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All Kiki does is suck up to Larsa Pippen. I don't really see what other value she has to this show.
Well, Marisol and Adriana, they were actually like from the original cast, and they were full-time housewives at one point. So for them to be friends, it's like a little different than Kiki coming in for the first time just as a friend. So yeah, there's like a different level to the friends kind of role, I guess, between those two.
No, I think it's friends in general. You know, if you look at other franchises, you know, I would say out of the friends on these different, Kiki offers the least out of them. Like, what does she do? She doesn't really say anything. She doesn't really do anything other than like go along with what Larsa Pippen has to say. I really don't see what this Kiki has to offer.
Wait, is that true? What Adam just said, that Alexia called out Kyle and Dorit for being full of themselves at BravoCon?
Oh, let me have a look of. Wait, I'll have to try and find that message.
Because that might make me a bigger fan of Alexia.
Oh, wait. Where did Adam say that? He said, I love it how Alexia said at BravoCon that Kyle and Hobo PK's wife are full of themselves. Yes, that is true. Yes,
When did she say that?
I think they said it on I think she said it on one of the panels.
Oh, love that.
Like,
love that for her.
And I think they both are. I mean, I have to agree with Alexia on that. Yeah, Alexia did a bit of shading, actually. She shaded Melissa Gorga for lying as well about the whole how Louis met her. Because obviously, Melissa tried to spin this narrative that Louis was trying to date Alexia first. But Alexia was like, and I'd heard this before. It was like, no, Louis met both Alexia and Todd at the same time at this hotel in Barcelona. She had been going out with Todd Napola for just over a year when they were in Barcelona. And I believe that Alexia and Todd were on that trip, like celebrating their 1-year relationship anniversary.
And Louis was just randomly there?
And Louis was randomly there, yeah.
Weird.
But it was very much Alexia and Todd were there on a couple's trip. Alexia was not there on her own, which is what Melissa wants to make people believe.
Yeah, and Alexia and Teresa are very they're close.
Yeah, they are.
And I think that's weird too, because Alexia is just a dumb version of Teresa.
Well,
they're very similar when you think about it.
Yeah,
they are. They are very similar, and they're both Andy's favorites.
Yeah.
The people that Andy favors tend to be very similar personality types.
But Kyle's his favorite, and I don't think Kyle shares similarities to both Alexia and Teresa.
Are you kidding me? Thinking that they're the center of attention, that everything revolves around them.
They're very family oriented
and loyalty.
I'll tell you why they're different.
Quote anchors of the show. Yeah.
No, they are different. No, but they are different. Kyle is different to Alexia and Teresa. Kyle is more of the beg martyr type of woman. She doesn't know how to stand strong, whereas both Teresa and Alexia, they've gone through
they'll tell you the deal. Yeah.
To get to where they are. They've handled stuff, they've dealt with it, they've moved on, they've gone out the other side. Whereas Kyle, if she were in that position, would have just drowned.
Kyle cannot read.
I do think they're different. You can't compare them. You can't compare Kyle to Teresa and Alexia. She's not gone through what they've gone through. And if Kyle was in that position, she wouldn't know what to do.
She will.
The only time Kyle's ever sticks up to anybody is just with Sutton, because she knows Sutton doesn't like confrontation. Otherwise, she would just cower and cry too, despite doing everything behind that person's back.
Because what's it called? Kyle cannot read. Okay, she talks like this. She's like, "Oh my god, yeah, I get it, yeah." But it's like, she just can't read. She does not know how to read the girls. It's just like she would never top the Miami and Atlanta girls. Like, that's it.
No, it's not happening. I don't think. Yeah, I think I can. I feel like, see, Alexia and Teresa, they are more similar than Kyle and Teresa, but I can see like Kyle does fit like the matriarch of her family, children, and like, you know what I mean? It's like that kind of like more generalized kind of person, but yeah, it's definitely more Teresa and Alexia.
Well, I think Alexia, Teresa, and Kyle are very similar, and you can compare them not in who has had the most trauma in their life, but in the positions and roles that they play on the show.
Yeah.
They are the connector. They are the anchors. They are the matriarchs. They are connected. They're stirring the pot. They're keeping people together. They're tearing people apart. They are sides. You know, are you on Alexia's sides? Are you on Kyle's sides? Are you on Tree sides? And they are the anchor within those sides. They're like the captains of the team. I think in those aspects, then yeah, they're very much the same. That's a big reason why they're also Andy Cohen's favorites, because Andy Cohen's favorites all have those similar attributes. I'm not thinking Kyle is like Alexia because Alexia has had trauma. But at the same time, Kyle now is going through maybe a separation from Mauricio, facing all of the lawsuits. Let's see what happens with that, you know? So I think she's facing her own sort of similar legal marriage problems, and we'll see how that comes out in the wash. But I think they're similar in the type of archetype of housewife that they play, not necessarily their personal life trauma, if that makes sense.
Or their personality, yeah.
Yeah, or their personality. Because they can have very different, like, again, even like a Nene is still very much like a Kyle and a Teresa and Alexia. She's the anchor. Whose side are you on? She's the matriarch. She was Andy's favorite for years. Yeah. You know, even like Vicky Gumbelson, same exact situation. You know, who's Andy's favorite in New York?
What in this new New York?
Jenna, because everybody was up Jenna Lyon's butt. Whatever.
No. I think his favorites are actually Erin. He always favors the Jewish woman.
Well,
because he is Jewish.
Because he is
not,
Jewish,
not
yeah.
being racist, but he does.
No, we know you're not. Yeah.
But like, if you look, like Dorit, he's got a random soft spot for Dorit, who does nothing for this show, and yet he seems to love her. Like Erin,
you're
I
right,
quite
because
like Erin on New York. But Jenna, I think he likes her, but I don't think he fully likes Jenna, because I think he knows that Jenna's sort of a one and done for New York.
Yeah.
And he
likes her because he respects her prestige.
I confirmed at BravoCon that they are looking for a new housewife and a friend of the show.
Yeah, I don't think she's coming back. She didn't even. Yeah, for her.
She didn't even go to BravoCon.
Nope.
No, I agree.
Wow. She said she was busy.
Twiddling her thumbs.
She had an event. Remember last time?
Yeah.
Taking down her Christmas tree.
Odie, what do you think about Lisa's situation?
Lisa, I always thought Lenny was weird. So the fact that they're actually getting divorced and now he's actually giving her 8K, it's just like, girl, I don't know what to say. It's like I have no words for the situation no more. You married me for money, you get the money, and now you're still complaining, girl. Bye.
But don't you think 8K is like
Too much.
ridiculously low?
I think it's enough because I'll work with anything. And plus, Lisa gets sponsorships. She gets fake giveaways. She does fake giveaways. She does a lot of brand endorsements. So she's fine by herself. She's not going to get the full amount. She better be thankful at least. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I understand what she's saying, how like your kid shouldn't have to lower their standard of living, but like she's got to understand and put things in perspective. The standard of living that she was living with Lenny was not normal under any circumstances. So
Right.
for them to still be like upper class, but just maybe not like the toppest of the echelon, like that's not exactly like a crime, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, like not many
What does
children
Jody do?
are living in a $50 million house.
Right. And plus, what does Jody do for a living?
He's like a tech guy, I think.
It's
He
giving
is, yeah.
guys. Okay, it's giving he's going to go to jail.
Who, Jody
Oh my
Glidden?
god! Why do you say that?
Because everybody
Such a funny-
everybody's in the tech community now, but watch.
Why do you think that, Odie?
Because everybody's in the tech community in the housewife world, and then they always end up in jail. So it's just like
Wait, which ones in tech that have gone to jail in Housewives?
Jen Shaw.
Well, that was telemarketing. I wouldn't call that tech.
Okay.
No, when I say tech, it's like Silicon Valley type stuff.
Oh, well,
Like real tech.
Well, we'll see.
No, I see what Odie is saying, because like that whole guy Sam Brakeman-Fried, he's out there now for the cryptocurrency scam.
Yeah,
He's about to go all the way under the jail for that one. All the way under the jail because he scammed the wrong people at the wrong time. So I get what Odie is saying, and it's always like, I work in tech. It's like, what do you really do?
Yeah,
so vague.
I invest. I work in
co-founded
real
a
estate.
firm. So Jody Glidden, he co-founded this company called Intro Hive, which is an AI-powered SaaS platform.
it's giving scam.
That's what he did, and he actually started off his career as a teacher at a technical college, as a software teacher. Yeah, at a technical college. That was how Jody started his career, and he worked up from a teacher to being an entrepreneur.
Wow.
That's great.
Jody's so boring to me, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, we've not seen enough of him.
And he's definitely going to get tired of her completely dumping everything that's going on with Lenny on. Like, you can tell that it's like the newness of the relationship is allowing him to tolerate it, but that's going to run out real quick.
I have a question. Do you think he's a little fruity? Because he just gave me that vibe. My gaydar was just ding, 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 ding.
Well, I always got that with Marisol's husband.
Right.
No, the people that I would say are not honest about their sexuality potentially are both Eddie, Tamra's husband, and Sergio, Caroline Stanbury's husband. I mean, they seem a bit too interested in what the wives do. They want to do all the women's things. And like, you think about both of them, like, why don't you go out for a beer with the lads and have fun? If you get what I'm saying.
I know, but like Jody, but I think Jody might just be like dorky too.
Odie? Oh, bye, Odie. We love you.
Oh yeah, what happened to Odie?
I don't know. Maybe his Wi-Fi or something, or he had to go. We love you, Odie.
Come back.
My Odie.
I feel like he's probably just like dorky, and then stumbled across money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a tech guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, and if he's teaching like computer science at the local college, hello. Like
But he used to.
Yeah.
He's not now. He used
I know,
to.
but
That was
like he used to. Think about like if you ever took a class like computer science in college, who was teaching it? Like, come on.
yeah.
They're
No,
not
that's fair
exactly super alpha-y. But yeah, I just think he's probably just like dorky and just like happened to be rich. So like now he's getting the girls, but he's still like dorky. So
I
it's good.
default to Odie's gaydar. Because I feel like if he's feeling it, then his gaydar is probably right.
I don't know. I usually have a pretty accurate one myself. Only with Americans though.
Jodie's American.
No, I know. But like my gaydar only works with American men, is what I'm saying. And Jodie's American, and I don't know if I necessarily get that. I get just a dork.
Yeah, that's what I get off him as well. Whereas gaydar vibes, I get off people like Sergio, Eddie, Judge.
100%.
I get gaydar from Marisol's husband, 100%.
See, I get dork vibes from Marisol's husband.
Same.
I get
Really?
dork vibes from him. Yeah.
Oh, Diana.
Yeah.
No,
Diana
he's got
Jenkins'
some sugar in his. He's got some sugar in his tank.
Diana Jenkins' fiance guy. He's another one.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Like the gaydar, like alarms were going
feel
off.
like honestly,
Meredith Marks's husband's another one, and Angie Kavanaugh's husband.
Wait, whose husband? The last one?
Angie and Meredith's husbands from the two from Salt Lake City.
Well, this is the thing. I think Angie's husband 100%, and I think that Meredith's husband, I think he's equal opportunist. I think he would take anything. Like I think
I think
there's been a lot of rumors.
Like he would just do whatever. Pansexual.
Before Lisa Barlow's hot mic moment, there've been a lot of rumors about him doing extra activities with men allegedly in Chicago.
Yeah. I believe it. Adam says Real Housewives of the Fays, Ashley Darby, Meredith Marks, Angie K, Tamara Judge, Carolyn Stanberry, and The Beg. Yeah, that's a really solid list.
The Beg's Diana Jenkins. I know what Adam means when he says that.
I was just gonna ask because I was like, I forget who the Beg is.
Jenkins,
Yeah, I just get like a little dork from Jody. Like he's like, I'm not used to getting this hot of women and being on TV and stuff. This is a little weird.
Can I be honest with you all? I actually would be really interested. I'd like to see a Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls Trip, Husbands in the Closet type one, where you cast like Meredith and Angie and Caroline Stanbury and Diana Jenkins and like see what happens.
Get them all in in Thailand or something.
Like you're all here because there's rumors about your husbands and people don't buy into the fact that they're not.
We have to add the Nat to that list.
Go on an ultimate girls trip and let's see what happens.
We have to add the Nat because I think Eddie might be a little.
Is his name Eddie?
Eddie, yeah, Tamara's husband's called Eddie.
No, not
no.
Eddie. Edwin.
Edwin, yeah.
Oh, Teddy's husband, Edwin, yeah.
Yeah. I think him and Mauricio and PK all got down. We need to add Kyle on there because it's already been allegedly confirmed about Mauricio and what he's doing.
What, with Emma, allegedly?
With Emma, allegedly, but also like with the
Who's
trans
Emma?
woman. Emma, his Dancing with the Stars partner.
Oh! I thought you meant that was like the trans woman. Yeah, the trans.
No, the trans woman was like a decade ago.
I don't know where you've heard this rumor about PK, but that's not a rumor I've heard or has been going around in London.
I don't know. Did I like make it up from my candy cane brain? Maybe.
I just got the vibe that maybe him and
PK. I don't think he's gay. I just think he's
you don't think him and Boy George maybe dappled?
No,
I think if him
not,
and Mauricio, I think if him and Mauricio got drunk enough and high enough, and Mauricio was just like, "Yeah, do what you want to do," I think PK would do what he wanted to do.
I really don't see that personally.
I don't know.
I mean, if unless it meant that PK had his debts paid off, then he might. But
See?
I don't think he'd willingly do that.
Maybe. I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see.
Did you guys
Anyway.
hear that more? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I was going to say Morgan Wade did not get a Grammy nomination.
Not surprising.
Faking that lesbian relationship with Kyle for all of this time, and she still didn't get a Grammy.
Well, no one knew who the hell she was before Kyle was involved in her life.
Yeah, and remember I sent you that blind item?
Yeah. Faking
Here,
this
I
relationship
just pulled it up.
Did not
There's
work.
a blind item, Freddie, from it looks like from the screenshot comes from the big one, which is the Wild Crazy Days and Nights. And it says the singer and this housewife got into a huge fight because the housewife didn't call in any favors to try to get the singer as a presenter at a recent award show.
I saw that. I did see that one.
And the little picture of the person looks like a little cartoon character, looks exactly like Kyle.
Yeah, I think that's very plausible. But, you know, at the end of the day, no one heard of Morgan Wade, so the fact she thought she could win a Grammy for when she'd only been in the limelight for about 5 minutes, it's a bit, like, arrogant and incredibly naive. That's like me thinking I've joined a company and I've slept with the boss. That means that, you know, I get to become CEO in a week. You know, it doesn't really work that way. You know, I mean, like, how arrogant are you?
100%.
And I just so I now hope that this Morgan woman, if that is the case and she thought this way, I hope she never wins a Grammy.
I know, right?
I
completely think she's using Kyle.
Spread her legs to some closeted woman that lied about being straight for ages, and that's how she thinks that she can get a Grammy. Like, no, not acceptable. Yeah.
All right, you guys. I am so hungry.
Me too.
I gotta go eat. This was so fun.
Right.
I love you guys. Thank you.
I love how we just went through it all.
We did.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Thank you, Freddie.
Oh, thank you. See you soon, Candy.
See
Bye.
you soon. Love you. Mwah. Thank you so much, Odie, for coming up. And thank you, Jacob, for coming up earlier. Shout out to all my candy canes. Hey, Deb. Hey, Adam. Thank you for Adam in the chat. Hope your teeth are feeling better, sweetheart. Thank you, Food D. Thank you, Shay B. Obviously, Natoski, thank you so much. Who else? Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Reality Diamond, Miss T, everybody. Thank you guys so much. It's been so much fun. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Take care of yourself and each other. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.